Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you're new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. If you'd like to join the community debate, then go to nathanoakley.com and check out the Flat Earth Debate Forum. Now, before we start the live show, we are actually joined by Paul and Slick James Johnson. How are you both doing?
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Hello, good.
The last show ended with 3 minutes of dead air, so I went and tended to my wife for a few minutes, came back, and I'm like, oh, everybody's gone. So I checked it out just to see if there was anything untoward that happened while I wasn't actually paying attention to it on the recording, but there wasn't, so it'll just get published with 3 minutes of dead air at the end, from me then rounding out, going, oh, right, nobody's here, and then a brief conversation with Slick. So, interesting way to end the show. Fortunately, this show won't have dead air at the beginning, as you two have joined. Thank you very much.
Certainly.
So hopefully a few other people will join as well, but things are a lot calmer.
Yeah, and I'll try to keep an eye on the back end, try to catch anybody if I can.
Are they buggers?
Yeah, I saw where Jon Snow or something put a hit out on a stream.
Sorry, I'm just distracted by an email that had been sent from Anthony. Very interesting stuff. Hopefully you'll join.
Well, while we're in the interim, I was going to try to talk about the pictures I took back on my Jamaica trip.
Oh yeah, do you want to? Can you stick them up?
Yeah. Okay, yeah, there's not that many, but I just always think it's just if I can get them going here a minute, just give me a second. But I think that you can see it on my icon. How the light goes from the beginning of the horizon all the way to the shoreline, and which obviously to me is evidence that the water itself is flat. And even in the ocean, when you look at the water as the light is shining over the water, you can see the waves in the water, which means that those waves create a curve, in the water itself. So I think it's kind of like interesting that in that shot you're proving flatness and evidence that if it was curvature in the same shot. You understand what I'm driving at?
Sure.
I'm trying to get one pulled up, so bear with me. It's been let's see, here we go. Okay, now to share it. Let me share. Where'd you go? Okay. Is that showing? Can you see it?
Can you zoom in a little bit? Hopefully it'll fill the frame of the picture. There we go. That's
that
too
work?
much. Too much. Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect.
Oh.
There we go.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah, you could see. Can you see my cursor? Going up and down.
Can I see it? No, I can't. There. Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Oh, okay.
With the sun.
Okay. Well, I mean, you could see like this since the sun's just right at the horizon, but this light comes all the way to the shore virtually. But even in some of these spots here, you could see there's a shadow, but you could see the light at the top of the wave. It's like what it would be like if it was curved, because if the sun was that far out, then literally you would not only see a bit of a spot here, but then this whole part would be dark if it was curvature. But you've got it from the horizon all the way to the shore. So I think it's right in that same shot, you get to see what it would look like for either way. And I'm actually about 3 stories up when I took this shot, and obviously I'm using my Android phone. I didn't have my P900 to be able to get any other better shot than this, but I thought it still did a pretty good job. just taking a shot with my phone.
Very
What
cool.
do you guys' thoughts?
Very cool.
I don't think there's anything else here. I'll see if there's any more I can share. That's just me at obviously that's me. I was at an event, so there's another one. That's actually a prettier one, but you can sit all the way to the shore.
You make it a bit bigger again.
What else can we pull up? Oh, make it bigger again. Okay.
If you would. That's it. Perfect. Too
There you
big. Yeah. It's good.
Okay. Yeah, I wish I'd have taken my P900 because I would have but I was afraid since I've never been to Jamaica and I've heard some issues about Jamaica, and I was like, I'm not going to take my $500-600 camera and it walk off. You know, think I can lose my phone, but that camera, I'm like, I'm not sure about that. You know, so the next time I think it was pretty safe. I could have taken it and done a lot better. And we were actually planning another trip. We got a good deal on another trip, so we may be going again to the same resort. So I might come back maybe next year with some better shots.
Very nice.
Jamaica's beautiful. If you've
I was
never
going to
been.
say, I was just
Yeah,
about to
if
say
you've never been
exactly
there,
that. It
it's
looks beautiful.
There's a portion in that shot where it looks like the sun is disappearing from the top up.
Something like right here, where my cursor is.
I can't see your cursor, but yeah, right at that image of the sun there. Yeah.
There's a cloud. I don't know if you could see it. There's a cloud like right here, and you can almost tell it looks like it's almost in front of the cloud, but I'm not sure. From the show here, if I can zoom in a little bit more.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so it looks like it's actually.
I'm talking.
Go ahead.
I'm talking about down a little lower. Look at that image
right here.
there. Right. That looks like, I'm just saying to the eye, that looks like the sun disappearing from the top up. Instead, you know how they always say it disappears from the bottom up. That looks like it's disappearing from the top down, you might say.
Yeah. I can see why you would say that.
Yeah.
But this obviously the sun's up here, and that's the reflection.
No, exactly. But I'm just pointing out how you can see different things in pictures that, you know, odd anomalies, you might say.
Mm-hmm. Well, you can see even how the water, if you look at even the water, like this portion of the water, the light is reflecting kind of more dimly. And then this section here is a little bit more bright. This section is a little less bright. And then it's kind of like, you know, the stillness of the water or something or whatever. And there's no boats. All these, like even this, are just sailboats that are parked out there, docked out there, anchored. So they're not really doing anything to the water. It's just the natural currents, you know, whatever's going on in the water itself. I don't know. It's just interesting how that even just the surface of the water is, I guess, changing the optics and how we view the water, you know, and how the light's shining off the water. So anyway.
Looks like a very pretty place.
Oh, it is. This resort was nice, and this sold us on all-inclusive resort. If you've never done one, if you ever thought about it, everything about going on vacation, everything's included: food, alcohol, the whole 9 yards. So it's you go down, you want to eat, you just go to the restaurant, sit down and eat, and then you walk up and leave when you're done. You know, so all the food's included. Sometimes when you travel, by the time you spend all the money you should eat for food, eating out and stuff like that, you know, about the same cost of what an all-inclusive resort would cost you. So, but anyway, it's nice. This resort's called Azul. It's on the Negril, I think that's how you pronounce it, Jamaica. It's on the east or western coast of Jamaica. So, but I know we talked about the tides the other day because that's the first thing I started noticing when I got here. Like, I don't know if I can't go down any further. I don't know if I can zoom in, but like the tide always stayed in this level. It never went, like when I would go to Myrtle Beach, it would start here to say this is the high tide. It would go all the way out, you know, like maybe out here for low tide. And the whole time we were in Jamaica, I never noticed that at all. And I thought, well, you know, back to the thing we talked about before, if there was any tidal forces with the moon, then it should affect even here in Jamaica, not just up in the U.S. You would think, anyway. That's all. That's about the only one I got there. There's a couple, but not too many. Didn't
Yeah,
have
I'll
a
see
lot
them
of
all.
time.
I'm more than keen to see them all.
Oh, let's see. Well, I don't want to. Some of these have got my wife in it, and I don't want to put that on the. Here, I'll unshare, then come back because I can pull up some here. Let's see. Hang on.
Oh, it's all gone quiet.
Oh, I'm back. I was just trying to get it repositioned, but this is a pretty shot too. This is like right before the other sunsets were occurring, or earlier on, and from the other shots. So it's just the, as you can see, the cabanas and the umbrellas and everything. So it's like the sun got washed out. I couldn't get any shots. So right when it hit the horizon, because you could see there was clouds coming in, and by the time later in that evening, the clouds were pretty much covering right where the sun would have hit the horizon. So I couldn't get anything right on the horizon. There's a shot of the beach during the day. If you ever go to Jamaica, go to here. This is Rick's. That's where they do cliff jumping. So that's about it. I don't want to get too deep into all my family vacation pictures. So I don't bore everybody.
Sorry. I don't have to worry about it because I don't board planes. So Jamaica's a place I'll never see.
Well, you could take a cruise ship. You don't have to do a plane. They do cruises to make it.
Yeah, I don't do boats or planes.
Hey, Owen.
Hello.
You're gonna do housekeeping. I think that might create some discussion.
We're not live yet. 5 minutes.
Got much on.
Yeah, we'll be. We will do housekeeping.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Oh, Jose's
Well, just to talk about it. The Jamaican people are kind of different too. Their mentality is very different. One thing we noticed when we were there, I called it Jamaican time, is that usually in the U.S., I'm not sure what it's like in the U.K., but in the U.S., you're always like, there's an urgency kind of behind usually things going on in the U.S. Typically, you feel it. Even in the South, you feel it. But in Jamaica, they don't have that sense of urgency. They get things done and they work hard and they're not lazy. But it's just a kind of a different mentality you kind of run into. They just
That's not just Jamaica.
It's just interesting.
That's not just Jamaica. There's a lot of countries. See all the island areas in South America, the top of it. They all have it. It's just a slower day.
Yeah, I think we need to adopt that at some level.
Serious.
Yeah. I mean, they worked hard. And they were very, like, everything we did was, the food was good. The room was always immaculate, when they come in and cleaned it, but it's just a different, definitely different mentality. It was kind of nice to experience. Of course, when we got locked out of our room, the battery died in the lock, the key card thing. And, so it took them forever to finally come out and fix it, but that's the only thing we were like hurrying, wishing they'd hurry up. And something else, I guess, as a side note too, is how I don't know where in the U.S. when you go to a hotel, they just give you a key card to get in. On this resort, they give you one that goes on your wrist. You always think if you're out swimming or doing something, you could lose your key card. And they've got one that goes on your wrist, so you could get in the water with it. You could do whatever with it. And it stays on your wrist. So when you want to go in, you just put your wrist up to the door, and it opens the door. I thought that was kind of cool. Interesting to see more of that around these parts.
Right, we're all ready to rock and roll. Yay, we're full of beans. Well, we're starting anyway.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you're new to this channel, or you've not done so already, you could be possibly in that position, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to join the community debate, then go to nathanoakley.com and check out the Flat Earth Debate forum. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live, and there's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join this discussion right now, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcomed back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by Arwin, Slick James Johnson and Paul. Very good to have you all.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Fun end to the last show, wasn't it?
Yeah, got sniped.
Yeah, during the after show. So if you're watching show 80... I've forgotten what number it is now, I lose track. What number is this? 804. If you're watching 803, then on the after show you'll see there's like 3 minutes of completely dead air while I left the room just to check out my wife. And then come back and I'm like, nobody on the panel. Best round out the show then. So... thank you very much if you stuck with the 3 minutes of dead air. Oh, I suppose it hasn't been broadcast yet, so nobody has. But yeah, you will be if you're watching on the second channel. Go and subscribe, by the way, if you actually want to watch the uncut or after show. Then you need to be subscribed to Nathan Oakley. There is a link in the info box below the video. Thank you, everybody else, for joining us again live. Good to be back broadcasting.
Hooray!
Hooray! Any signs of curvature, gentlemen?
Nope.
Nothing.
Signs of optics.
Nope.
Definitely not any signs of perspective. That's a given. We know perspective is real. But any signs of Earth-based curvature?
Any signs of orthographic geometry?
Oh, there's plenty of those. Perspective exclusive
Really?
geometry
Where?
is rife in
Where
the
did
ball
you see one?
community. No?
Where did you see geometry in the real world?
Somebody on the last show when it came to this next question, I think it might have been Anthony. Hopefully he'll rejoin us. He has dropped me a line on Skype. But he was saying, oh, shouldn't we add Coriolis? I've forgotten what he used as the bullshit term for Coriolis. What was it? Cornelius or something effect?
Cornholio effect.
Cornholio effect. Because Coriolis is real. But Earth... bye-bye. But Earth-based Coriolis definitely is going bye-bye. Because there is no Earth-based Coriolis. But any signs of axial rotation?
Nope.
Nothing.
Nope.
Fair enough. What about scientific evidence of gravity?
Nope.
Nothing whatsoever.
Aberrations, calculations,
Hello.
Hey, Flat Earth.
Hi.
Hi. No? Gravity? No scientific evidence of it? What about the
No.
distance to the sun? Any evidence of that? Certainly claimed by our opposition.
Nope.
Shock horror. What about
There's
any
no
evidence?
measurable distance to the sun.
Cool. Love the new phraseology, Arwin. Any evidence that we can have a gas pressure maintained without the necessary antecedent of a container for all those fundamentalist zealots that believe the sky is a vacuum called outer space?
What you're technically asking is, do we have something that is technically impossible? It's a very odd question.
Yes. Can you have the violation of the second law of thermodynamics known as the vacuum of the sky? Well, no, is the obvious answer. That's just a fundamentalist belief in wizardry, and pictures on your television set claim to have come from a second law of thermodynamics violation. Outer space is absolutely fake. You can't have gas pressure, we all breathe it, next to a vacuum. The gas would expand in all directions and fill that space. The fact that we have gas pressure proves there is no outer space. Moving on.
Gravity can't do anything about it.
We've already covered that. There's no scientific evidence of gravity. So, yeah.
Right.
We've already covered
But
that.
even the imagined gravity can't do it. That's the most hilarious part about it.
Well, the imaginary region of outer space, not possible because it violates a natural law, isn't just puffed into reality because there's another imaginary force of gravity that is asserted with no scientific evidence. So,
but you're missing the joke. The actual joke is that one imaginary thing and the other imaginary thing, they actually don't work together. So even though they're both imaginary, they don't fit. So it's just a plain clown show in your face. It's ridiculous.
I see what you're saying now.
Even their theoretical gravity can't do that. That's what I find particularly hilarious.
The weak force of gravity, even if it was real, would not negate the second law of thermodynamics. Gas would still expand in all directions and fill the available space it has available to it. In other words, it would fill the container. It needs the necessary antecedent, in other words, something to press upon. And you can't press on a vacuum. Gas would disperse into that vacuum. So the sky, outer space, is not a vacuum because it defies a natural law. There will never be a demonstration of it. And like Quantum Eraser says, you can have both. Newtonian, Cavendish and Einstein gravity at full effect now demonstrate gas pressure being maintained without a container, i.e. a violation of the second law of thermodynamics. It's still a law, still holds true, just a fundamentalist belief in a sky vacuum doesn't cut it, unfortunately. Should we move on to the self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth? Any evidence of that?
Oh, what is down there?
Nothing.
Is it a molten chocolate core, maybe?
Like a molten chocolate core?
Right.
It's
Sounds
certainly
much
a possibility.
more appealing.
From the man who bought you rectangular looping, the molten chocolate core.
Or I think the right phraseology would be the molten creamy core. That's how they say it, I think.
What you're basically saying is Earth is a
Earth
Cadbury's
is a
cream
bonbon.
egg. Is that what you're saying? We have just had Easter. There's going to be a lot of people who know what a Cadbury's cream egg is right about now.
Right. Exactly. I don't know. Thought I'd do an Easter-themed molten iron core argument.
I see. Gooey, sugary, chocolatey core. Not really proof of Earth having one, though, is it?
No.
Sounds tasty, though. What about the presuppositional R value? Any evidence of that?
Well, there's evidence it's presupposed.
We do this so often, eh? Hey, Anon Moto, good to have you.
Hello.
Hello. Definitely evidence that there's a presupposition at play. It's another one of those questions where the answer is kind of in the question. Well, not kind of, is. Any evidence of the presuppositional R value? Yep, clue is in the question.
Yeah, and I answer you with the answer in your question.
I know, Arwin. I know.
Answer.
You take the joke literally and answer it with yes, there is evidence of a presupposition. Which is technically correct.
Exactly.
But you're not a globe head, so getting that concession out of you, Arwin, isn't really an achievement now, is it? Hey, UK Truth.
Hi, Nathan.
Hello.
I'm still.
Hey, Physics Warrior.
I'm still having logistical. Oops.
Hi, Nathan.
Logistical problems with what?
The ball of twine. Remember we talked about that a few weeks ago. It's creating all kinds of problems. You know, the weight, getting it shipped, trying to logistically get it stretched out. It's just becoming a nightmare. So I don't think it's ever going to happen. So.
Well, on that note,
But
if it's the housekeeping. I'm glad there's been a long break between this show and the last show, because the last show was just a mess of, I don't know, just like slick under the microscope, total mess.
It's okay.
I thought that had fizzled out by now. You know, it took long. I don't know why I thought it would fizzle out. It took a long time for it to fizzle out with Arwin, and now you know people are pretty accepting of him. In fact, he's got his own show that does very well. Do you want to plug your show, Arwin?
Yeah, thanks. So I'm enjoying it a lot. So still going strong.
So I'll do it for you. So that's Flat Earth Early Bird on Arwin, Arwijn. Arwin. Arvane.
Arvane. Just call me Arwin.
Arvane. Anyway, over on Arwin's channel, you've got Flat Earth Early Bird. It broadcasts about an hour before the first debate, so it's 1 PM UK time. And it's a very entertaining show. I often join. I often watch. Very good show. Love it.
Thank you. Thank you.
But yeah, my point being that go back 6 months and there was the same comments I now see about Slick. Don't let Slick on your panel. Don't let Arwin on your panel. Arwin's ruining everything. Slick's ruining everything. And you're just like, oh, bugger off. Everyone's welcome. If you don't like Slick's opinion, then so what? He's as welcome on the panel as the ballers. They're far more irritating. Hey, Drill. Is that a sniper? Drill. Oh, here we go.
Oh, got him.
Took out somebody.
I got him though.
His avatar is still showing up.
Yeah, I just booted him out the hangout as well.
See.
So yeah, it's going to be a snipey show. I can just feel it in my bones.
Whatever happened to Ballbusters this weekend? You guys I didn't see it pop up anywhere.
Yeah, John was ill. He's been ill for the last 2 or 3 days, actually. He's still ill now. I did chat to him this morning. He sounds rough. He's like, I'm going to breakfast. And then I spoke to him later. He's like, I've thrown up breakfast.
And Nathan, I don't want to start anything here, but as much as I appreciate you using that comparison, if you could just do me a favor, and please don't do that. Don't compare me with that.
No worries.
That's not the same thing. Thank you.
But it is true.
No, I hear you, but if you could just do me that favor.
Go ahead, Paul. I'm waiting to see who breaks this awkward silence.
I was trying to think of something to say, but I wasn't sure. I was trying to think, what could I talk about? Let's see what Lily wants to talk about. I mean, we could talk about that thermometer, which I thought was interesting. You know, Nathan brought it, or Anthony brought it up last show. How the density's changed by the temperature. You know, I thought that was interesting. You know, I was even thinking about it after he said that too. You know, I guess would that be evidence of a dynamic system as well? You know, but I guess it'd be hard to determine whether there's different pressure levels at different levels in that small of a environment. But some things I was thinking about. What do you guys think?
Well, it's good in a way because it is our argument and it's denied by a lot of globe heads. The only issue I have is that the relative density aspect is accepted by both sides as far as I can tell. There is no, like, disavowment, if that's even a word, of, hey, Flat Earth. Oh, presumably you got kicked, right? Maybe not, maybe. We'll find out in a minute. Hopefully Flat Earth will let us know the score. Anyway, yeah, it's accepted on both sides. There's just an extra assertion, which is gravity. Well, without a demonstration of gravity, all you're left with is relative density, something that's accepted both sides. So it's a weird one. It's nice to see Galileo detailing it in terms that we would use more overtly than are typically used by ballers. So yeah, it's a great example. I'm pleased you're talking about it. I know you passed it on to Anthony, credited you, but it's nice to hear you talk about it as it's your example.
Well, this came up after the fact, and this is also still related to what you just said, but it's funny, like we try to attribute things we experience here on Earth, and flat Earth, or if you're still on here, might not like what I'm about to say, But we experience things here on Earth, and they try to attribute certain things that go on in the heavens. Like, they have to have gravity to make the planets form. They have to have gravity to make the sun function. We have to have gravity, for the orbiting of everything going around. But there could be completely different laws that are governing the heavens than what's governing here. And so we can't go up there to see what's going on up there, and try to figure out what the laws are. I mean, there is probably an interaction. There have to be a connection at some level for us to be able to interact with those things. Obviously, light is a commonality. We have to, I can see light coming off my TV screen or my computer screen, and I see light coming from the stars. So there's a similarity aspect to it, but there could be other things that are causing those things to happen. Do you know what I'm driving at? And I think they have to latch on to gravity to try to bridge that gap. They use gravity to kind of reach out and say, well, this applies to the stars. But like the etymology of gravity is just weight. So how can you jump from weight to a force that bends space, time, and mass and all this stuff? But it even gets more even complicated than that. I'm going like, how does something like I pick up my mouse, I interact with my mouse, and I can move it. I can interact with the keyboard. I'm touching it. But for gravity to function, it has to work without there be any kind of interaction. So you have to explain the interaction.
You have to assume it's there and then explain everything that happens through it. That's how they do it. And it works on a wide scale, even through in their presuppositional space fantasies and everything. Up to a certain limit, of course. The gas pressure situation is not really fixed by it, but they just overlook that or start to fill it in with fantasies. But yeah, you have to assume it's there and then it works. Oh, was that?
Hey, Mark Smith, can you hear us?
Yes, how you doing?
Very well. Thank you for joining.
Thank you for letting me in.
It's like I get. Yeah, you're right, Erwin. I think it's like magnetic forces are invisible, but they can be measured or seen by different things. But those forces are still interacting. There's this like even molecules when we touch our hand, the molecules aren't really touching. It's the pushing back of the polarity of those molecules that's causing that contact. But there's still an interaction. Does that make any sense? And I don't think the spooky action at a distance. I've heard that term before. That spooky means magic, means something that it can't be tangibly figured out or understood. I don't know. I just think they're using gravity to try to bridge the gap between the Earth and the heavens.
Right. You mean spooky action at a distance? That's
what they say. Yeah, that's one of the things they use: spooky action at a distance.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know.
Yeah, they imagine an entanglement of gravity. They imagine it all being entangled, even though we can't actually measure it. And that's the thing about gravity. It can be presupposed in so many things. The structure can fit so many different levels that they just start to assume, okay, well, up to here, we can all presuppose it there. So it must be so much more going on. We're just going to assume there's some gravity over here and some gravity effect over there and some unforeseen consequences over there and spooky action at a distance. That's what it is.
Yep, you're right. I mean, I remember I was talking to a philosophy teacher when I first got into flat Earth, and I keep thinking, they say, well, this is how gravity works. I was like, well, but I can't experience it by just putting a ping pong ball on a table next to a lead weight. You can't experience it that way. But the sun over millions of miles can influence planets. There's a disconnect here. And I don't know. It's just there's a logical disconnect that I don't think they're willing to come to terms with. I figured that would start up more conversation, but it hasn't.
Well, I was just going to say that a prophet is never accepted on his home show.
Okay.
I'm not even really claiming anything, I'm just saying I guess I am in a way, but I'm just questioning. Like, there's too many questions, that can't be answered.
Well, all questions can be answered. Is that the thing is, can you handle the answer? Is also another question.
Slick, what do you mean by a prophet cannot be accepted as home show? I'm lost on that one.
Yes. It goes with another saying that a prophet will never be accepted in his own hometown. I just switched hometown for show because there's no town here. It's kind of just a show.
Who's the prophet?
I get it.
I said a prophet.
I'm trying to keep my mouth shut. I could create another show from last show, but I'm not going to do that.
Hey, Nathan.
Yeah.
Did you hear back from? Did you hear back from Benjamin?
I haven't looked at my email today, but I can certainly have a look now. I mean, I have looked at my email, but I haven't, if you know what I mean.
Well, I've looked at Owen Benjamin's Hangouts, and he seems to have contacted David Weiss, and they're back and forthing. And yeah, he mentioned a lot of typical arguments on this show this morning that reflected things that David Weiss typically shares. So yeah, I think they're going to do a show together at some point. I'm looking forward to it.
I suspected so. Dave Weiss has been into the Owen Benjamin show far longer than I have, and lots of people in his chat, when he said who shall I talk to, said his name, and I was like, well, I think I'm a better person to talk to, but David Weiss is going to be equally as good. No, he won't be. I would be better.
I think he actually did say he was going to speak to DIRTH in his on.
Sorry,
one
was
of
that,
his
He did.
streams.
was that Mark?
He did. He did. He mentioned how he was talking with him in his latest hangout.
Yeah.
Hey,
Sorry,
it says texting. They're texting. So that should be at least better contact.
There you go, and there's your answer. He'll probably be talking to David Weiss and not me.
He should be talking to you, Nathan.
I know he should be talking to me, but that's okay. I'm not bitter.
Nah, he's not ready for Nathan yet.
No, well, yeah, true.
David has a good book.
He needs to be warmed up first, doesn't he? He needs to be warmed up.
Hey, Plexus.
You guys,
Hello?
Hello, Plexus. He's a real person. He's joined before.
Hey, it's me. It's Plexus. Hi, guys.
Good to have you.
Yeah, good. I just got home from a grocery store and I saw the link, so I joined. I don't know if you're streaming right now, but good morning, afternoon, everybody.
Yeah, we're live right now.
Okay, cool. I'll watch my over excessive swearing I'm known for. I'm just kidding. I don't swear that much.
Okay.
David has a good little coffee table book. I don't know if you guys seen it. He has a free PDF online on his website.
Oh, he's been keeping a wide collection of video materials. He's one of the few people who actually collected all the samples. And vast database.
No, this PDF is cool to have on your phone in case you end up dealing with a globe head in real life. Because it's like, I don't know, 50 pages, and it's just all the stuff that's visually powerful, and it's free. You just download it.
There is a gap on the panel. Links published. Other than snipers.
No, the link didn't work. I had to ask somebody to paste it to me on a different Hangout. The link you have on YouTube sends you to a empty Hangout.
Really? I'll do
Yeah,
it.
you forgot to put it in there. It's the old link.
Yeah, I definitely updated
Well, I don't know
it.
whichever it was. There's a link in there. When I clicked on it, it kept sending me to a Hangout that says you're the first person to join, and then I asked somebody in another group chat, and they sent me this link. So
Do you have an Apple?
no, I'm using Android.
Well, I've updated it, so we'll see what happens. Although we've had snipers come in, so yeah, it must have worked. Just unlucky. That's what happens occasionally.
Maybe cash. Yeah.
How does sniping work? I was confused on how that works. I thought you were the host.
It's a need to know basis.
Yeah, you don't really need to be discussing or encouraging others.
No,
who
I
don't
just
know.
thought you were like the I thought you were the admin or whatever, and you had the power, Nathan. That's what I assumed.
Well, no, actually, no. So me personally, I'm not in. I've got to be careful with my words now. I don't have the facility to snipe. Me personally, as the host, I can eject people on the Hangout itself, but I'm not in a position to snipe. Let's just put it that way.
What's the difference between eject and snipe?
Say that again.
What is the difference between ejecting somebody and sniping somebody?
Well, if I tell you that, that'll give it away what you actually have to do.
Oh no, that's fine. We can have a private off-air convo or something. Yeah, not to the audience.
Someone will
I'm sorry.
Just don't ask after the live show gets rounded out because it's still recording. So yeah.
Yeah.
I've never done it, so if I'm honest, I could vaguely tell you how to do it, but I've never done it, and I don't know. I've never physically been in that position to do it, so I don't.
Is this a feature, or is this something that they're using like a loophole, like a? I guess I don't want to ask about it. That's not.
That's a fine question. It's a loophole. It's just a loophole.
Got it.
And Nathan, how come you don't use like Discord or there's a Vumo or Zoom or something like that? I heard that. I think the Ebon uses.
Yeah.
How come you don't use something like that?
It's not many people use it. Although it's easy to download.
No, I've got Zoom. I just prefer Hangouts. In terms of simplicity, there is nothing more simple for this format. In other words, it's a free-for-all, anybody can join. So long as the link actually works, that has its issues. It just works. So if you've got a YouTube account, you can join, which means anybody. If you're watching, you can join. For the Ballbuster show, I will start utilising Discord. Yeah, I've tried Zoom, I've tried various other ones as well, but I still think Hangouts is the best solution, in my humble opinion. But not for Ballbusters. So the problem we were having is obviously there's a main discussion going on, and it's like taking phone calls. You want somebody to put a concise point or question across, and then it gets discussed. You might go back to that person, you might not. But the problem with using Hangouts... Hi, King. How you doing? Hello?
Well, Discord has its own problems. Like, you have Soros groups targeting Flat Earth now. And there's just so many exploits. Like, you can get somebody's key on Discord and just steal their account and be them and then erase their server. So, nothing's without its problems.
Sure.
Nerd, did you kick him?
I kicked him. He didn't say hello. If you do join, just gotta say hello. Introduce yourself.
He said hello.
But
he said
very
hello.
softly, we could hear
He
it.
said hi.
Oh, did he? Oh, my bad. Sorry.
Why'd you snipe him, Nathan?
It's not sniping. When I do it, it's ejecting.
I'm just kidding.
That's what happens when you get sniped for 2 days in a row. You click to pull the trigger.
Yeah, so for Ballbusters, we can just open the mic on any given individual that's, relevant, and then they don't get an opportunity to rumpus each other while they're in the green room, which is what happened on the last Ballbusters when I used to hang out. It's like, okay, so who in the Hangout wants a question? You open the mic, and they're all arguing with each other.
Well, yeah. I mean, I hate the infighting. We're all supposed to be open-minded individuals who don't take people's word at, just face value. So, you don't really need to argue what's really right or wrong. You just need to, be on the same side. And, there's enough fighting in the world. We don't need to fight with each other.
Just bluff your way through it.
Well, there's actually...
That's how they do it.
There's no infighting because there's no in.
Right. Very interesting.
I think, having a discussion and doing clarity of terms and questioning and challenging perspective is part of the discussion. And I think the hard part in doing that is try to not take it personally, And I think a lot of times we do take it too personally when it's directed at you or directed at somebody or whatever, and then just learning to keep the issue on the table and not the person on the, put the person on the table, but keep the issue on the table, and talk about the issue. The infighting could go away if that would be part of it.
That's why I'm glad I don't take it personally.
Well, what I've noticed is like in the last, I'm older, so I'm not quite so young anymore. In the last decade, even questioning the narrative seems like is becoming more of a cardinal sin. I didn't really grow up like that. We questioned everything. We when the government lies to you every day, they get caught 10,000 times. It's not absurd to question them. Now it seems to become absurd, and I don't know where that came from.
Came from the corporatization of politics. That's where it came from. What did that?
And it also comes from the fact that people are allergic to new ideas. If they haven't heard them before or read them somewhere, then they just can't handle it. So a brand new idea, they just don't understand it and they attack it. I don't know why, but that's the case.
Somebody needs to go on mute. Somebody's causing a load of background noise. Whoever's not talking but leaving their mic open, just close your mic.
Well, about the last 10 seconds, 20 seconds.
I made the joke, if you record a tree falling in the woods and you put it on Google and it scrubs a link, did it make the noise? Kind of like, and then I'll talk about stuff I've read in books.
Yes, it did.
No, it's been scrubbed by Google and you can't provide a link, so no sources. It didn't exist. That's the new thing.
Yeah, but you're asking an if question. If it did that, then yes, it would be making a noise. Whether it is or is not in actuality is not relevant to the answer.
I think you missed the joke.
No, I just screwed it over.
Don't kill comedy.
I have a question.
Overkill comedy.
I mean, does light travel and give us a measurement of 186,000 miles, or actually, does it open up instantaneously through the field?
Well, that's a very good question. And how they came up with that is supposedly they passed it through mediums and slowed light down, and then we're able to come up with that number. But yeah, you just kind of like turn the light on. It's there. I mean, how do you come up with a miles per hour figure in tenths and tenths and tenths of a nanosecond?
Yo, Jogo.
What's up, fellas?
But isn't it true when we do like a double slit experiment and then reflect it off, there's a delay and we're able to measure that?
A delay?
To be honest, it's kind of like the question of does radio and light waves turn into a wave through a medium in a vacuum or a straight line of sight? And you get like 5 different answers. It's kind of like that,
What I was talking about, Arwen, is like the speed. Like if you were to reflect off from a mirror and have the light bounce off, I think then in the double slit, it's saying that there is a delay.
That there is a what?
A delay as far as
how is that measured?
I got to look as far as
not calculated but measured. How is it measured?
It's not the double split. You're talking about the delayed choice quantum eraser, not the double split.
All right. Okay.
We're talking about a presupposed particle speed.
Guys, can you please close your mics if you're not talking?
Right. So, yeah, light is supposedly so incredibly fast that even if you would slow it down gradually by supposedly bringing down the frequency into the red and eventually the infrared, then how is that speed of that light actually measured? Or is it derived from some presupposed calculation of its presupposed speed. Because it's so incredibly fast, how do you actually physically measure that in a way that doesn't involve some kind of machination trick?
Well, I mean, radio waves travel at 93 or 97% the speed of light. So, like, they even measure radio waves at a certain speed and light waves, well, they're kind of the same, just not
Really?
visible.
How?
I like I said, it's like the vacuum light radio wave question. Is it a wave? Is it a line of sight? And you get 5 different answers. So
Well,
I don't know. It depends on which source.
If there's a speed involved, it's going to be based on some time factor. So how is
Sensor,
a specific
maybe?
speed derived?
Distance and a sensor.
Right, through the atmosphere, I take it.
Yeah, but then, I know. Like I said, then you have variables being thrown in.
Because if you want to measure actual speeds, you have to take out all the other variables. So I would say in a vacuum. So I wonder how they measured the light speed in a vacuum. They would need a vast distance of vacuum just in order to get any kind of significant reading in time difference.
Well, that's why they use mediums. They're supposedly able to stop light. Certain tricks.
Really?
Yeah, that's what they say. Yeah.
Oh, they say it. Wow.
Yeah, I've never seen an experiment, but I've read about it.
That's really nice. There's a lot of things being said in the world.
Yeah, I know, but to understand things, you have to, like the art of war. You have to understand the enemy. You have to know about the enemy. So you do have to read this stuff.
Right.
It's just too bad Sleeping Warrior's not here. I'd like to hear his opinion. But, I think from a few hangouts back, his opinion was light is instantaneously. There is no speed.
And that's my argument exactly. That's why I'm bringing up this argument, because I don't think light has a speed. I think it's an instantaneous, infinitely divisible beam.
Well, it's not infinite. It's not infinite.
Really?
Yes, because if you turn on your porch light, does it light up the entire state or just your yard?
No, I'm not. No, I didn't say infinitely powerful. I said infinitely divisible. To emphasize that it's not a particle, the indivisible unit, like with molecules, atoms. Where at a certain, if you divide it up further, it no longer functions like the original matter that it was in molecular form, as it were. Light can be divisible infinitely. It's the only way we have to define it as a particle is by the minimum
starlight
light that can be registered.
Only the sun and starlight is infinite light. We cannot create any infinite light man-made. It's just we've never done it. Can't be done. It's never been observed, never been repeated.
I'm not talking about infinite light. I'm talking about infinitely divisible light. Can divide it up infinitely. Only if you divide it up enough, eventually it can't be registered anymore. There's nothing material out there that can absorb that minimum amount in order to register there being any light.
I don't understand what you mean by divisible. I'm sorry. Can you give me better context? I apologize.
Divisible beam, a beam that can be split up.
Since we're talking about divisible, Arlen, what do you think about plasma physics now?
Plasma falls into, another state of matter.
All right.
Light, when I'm concerned, light does not fall into the category of matter at all.
Mm-hmm. All right, I got you.
I'd like to take this time to give a shout out to Ken Wheeler. That's my favorite way of describing light. He goes back and analyzes what the old school scientists were saying before science method became reversed. Anyway, look him up, Ken Wheeler on YouTube. Theoria apoptosis.
Yeah, I'll definitely look at that. I like a lot of the new think has been kind of just is just to disprove God in some regards, not really science anymore.
I really like his concept about electrics and magnetics.
Electric
two sides of the same coin, two different types of manifestation of the same element. Really like that.
Yeah. And as he says, light is nothing. This Tesla, and I like.
You're
So I
very
gave it
bad.
a.
Your sound sucks. Anon, you're
Is it
totally
better?
breaking up. No, you're
Is
breaking
it
up.
better?
No.
Mute for a little bit. Maybe it's a bad spot.
Well, you often see science changing. They'll rename what they said back in the day, and they'll just bring it back up, and they renamed it, so now it's their science. Sort of like we used to call the infinite space the ether. Now it's just called antimatter or dark matter. The matter that we can't see.
Now that they changed, they're calling ether in quantum mechanics. They're calling it the quantum foam. So they call it the.
It's quantum foam now. They changed the name again.
Yeah, just look up.
Oh my god!
Quantum foam? Serious?
That's no.
Oh
this is.
I can at least understand antimatter or whatever, dark matter, whatever you call it.
None of them. They're all nonsense. But this is the good one because just look up the scientific paper.
Sure, I'll do that right now. Thank you.
I kind of like the idea of it, quantum foam. It sounds like
Yeah,
it
sure,
is
why not?
something that gets in the way that prevents things from spiraling out of control into infinite possibility. Is that how it's meant?
This is by John Wheeler in 1955. Is he related to that other Wheeler guy?
No, he's not. I thought about that too. I was like, interesting. No, but that's a different Wheeler. But Ken Wheeler put me up. He gave me this idea about. Well, no, it was his idea. He was quoting Tesla, but I had to go find the quote. Like I like finding the source, and I usually use either. I have found several websites that archive old newspapers from like 1700s on up, and obviously Google Books, a couple other places where just digital archives. Yeah. So yesterday for Anthony, I found Newton's quote that John brought up. I've learned that from Quantum Eraser, but I had to go find a quote. So I found it, gave it to him, and same thing with this. He was quoting Tesla, and I had to go find a quote, and I found it, and it basically says, light. This is Tesla's description of a light. It says light is nothing more than a disturbance in the ether, just like sound waves in air. And he says it's the rate of induction. So take that. These are the people who gave us the modern world. So I go with them, and especially when what do you think he ended up feeding pigeons towards the end of his life? Because he realized everything he said was everything. They took everything from him. They took his invention, and then they shat all over their his model, and they created this whole new Einsteinian model, and that was it. That's why he ended up talking to pigeons.
Well, I can't really blame him. I can't really blame him. I mean, Edison was just a nasty, nasty man. He had people. He had the whatever the G-men, wherever they used to call the FBI before they became the FBI, and he would send them to go, take people's inventions, threaten them, and then
rubber baron.
And then a lot of people don't know about the studio battles in Hollywood because Edison also owned the camera. If you want some good rabbit holes, go look up what Edison did and how actually Hollywood came about. It's pretty sad what it turned into from what its roots were, though.
Hey, has the work of Eric Dollard ever been discussed on the show?
Work of who?
Eric Dollard. Eric Dollard.
Oh,
Eric Dollard. He's amazing. Yeah, Eric Dollard. He's the guy that basically what Ken Wheeler, the people he quotes, the people he puts on the pedestal, and the people that he follows are Nikola Tesla, Charles Proteus Steinmetz, which is that the guy with the formality who ran General Electric Lab all in the 1800s, early 1900s. Him and Oliver Heaviside, which when people talk about Maxwell's equations, It's not actually Maxwell's equations. Those are Oliver Heaviside's equations.
Heaviside.
Oliver Heaviside. He's an
Thank you.
Irish guy. He also became a recluse, and toward the end of his life, kids were throwing stones at him, and basically same thing with him. All the people that just basically become just worn out, and just said, "Fuck you guys, I'm tired of all this." Like those are the guys that you want to pay attention to, not the guys that they put on front page of Times. That should be a giant red flag.
So back to my
for
question.
Anybody.
Sorry, carry on. Sorry, carry on.
No, go ahead.
No, I was asking Nathan basically if Eric Dillard's work has ever been discussed on this stream.
Yeah, a couple of times.
Okay, I must have missed them. I've watched about the last 60, 70, something like that. I've not seen.
Yeah, I'm on his,
a lot because there's a lot of flat Earth debates.
I'm on his
Owen.
website.
Say again, Owen.
Well, there's 804 episodes, so yeah, you might have missed a percentage.
A few. Yeah, a few. I have. It's just that Eric Dillard has a very interesting, you could say, quote at the end of one of his videos. And he's discussing about not being able to see the stars up above, basically. And I think he says something along the lines of, if you can't see the stars from outer space, then you throw away the whole model. Something like that. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think I brought up this point last time I was on the cast. Yeah. You can't see stars past 7 miles; they just disappear.
And then he ends it by saying, "So throw the model away." Yeah.
Well, how are you going to find point? How are you going to find point position orientation with no points of reference? Exactly. If your only point of reference is from what I belong to a high altitude balloon from meetup.org. You can join them; they're very easy to join. And if you can only see the Earth, the sun, and the moon from upper atmosphere, from what I can tell, and if you have Earth and it's your only point of reference, how are you gonna ever reach your destination if it's always moving?
Because it's not.
We talked about this with the balloons at night. Do you know do you have any footage of balloons at night going up and
it's always
showing us stars?
But no matter if we go up there in the day or the night, isn't it always night up there?
Yeah, but the stars, we're looking about the stars are in nighttime.
Well, if you do it in the day, then you see like a blue band below, and the rest is all black.
Yeah, they're all
black. That's what I think.
So it's like a quarter blue at most in the middle of the day, and the rest is all black.
All right. It's interesting.
Yeah, it is.
I'm sorry, the balloon guy. Have you guys launched any balloons at night?
Yes.
Do you guys see stars?
No.
At night? Huh?
I've seen one film recently, but I was unsure.
What?
It was kind of
It
blurry.
doesn't make any sense. How is there no stars at night?
Because
we saw footage, but it looked kind of fishy. Right? Remember, it was like a
that was like I looked at that. That's a composite. If you look at his description, he's using a GoPro and a Sony. It's actually a composite. So
yeah, that's bullshit.
They're millions of light years away. We'd never see them anyway, would we?
Well, we see them on the ground.
We see them on Earth, right?
Yeah,
we see them on the
they're
ground.
millions and millions and millions of miles away, though, aren't they?
But why did it disappear up top?
But we see that. Yeah, exactly. We go up a few miles and we can't see them anymore. That doesn't make any sense.
What the baller's explanation?
I smell something.
I know the baller's explanation for this, though, but it's
my nose
still
smells
bizarre.
something.
Gravity.
No. What they say is that the light from the stars is like a very thin beam from all that way, and up there in the vacuum, supposed vacuum, yeah, right. You can't see it because it's too small. You have to have a very light sensitive camera to see it. But in the atmosphere, suddenly at the last moment, it's basically diffracted. It becomes a little bit more diffused in the atmosphere, and that is why you can then see it.
Is that what they say?
Yes,
but
that's exactly what they
how are you ever going to travel the cosmos without a star chart?
Radio echolocation, I guess.
Yeah. You could
relation
please
to
don't.
the Earth.
I've heard that before. Please don't
Universe.
Mars Moon GPS. Please don't invent that. It's dumb.
Well,
I don't know.
actually,
Is
apparently they
satellite,
were able to get to the moon without any stars because
but it's like
every
an
shot of
GPS,
the moon, not one has a star in it. So
they use
Well,
SPS,
galactic.
spatial
they,
positioning system, like a
no, no,
GPS but for space.
no. They actually did have a special lens that they would look through, and I have pictures of it. I can post it if I can share pictures. Yeah, so they actually had to look through a special lens to find the stars, supposedly. And this is this is an analog system, so it's not digital at all.
So let me get this straight. The current narrative, it is accepted and put forth that you cannot see stars even at night above the atmosphere. Is that what they're saying?
Except for Hubble. Hubble is the only
No. I'm just forget Hubble, like with your eyes.
Now
They
Hubble
say
is supposed look, even Hubble officially is supposedly overexposing a lot.
And
Like
here,
a long-term
you
still.
hear astronauts, they say it's the blackest of the black when you look out there. And I mean, I guess technically they're at night, right? Because there's
No, during the day it doesn't really matter.
Well, I mean, if you're facing Earth, yeah, you're in the day. But if you turn 180 degrees, or 90 degrees, sorry, you're going to be facing the night side. I mean, it's not hard. You just turn the camera the opposite direction. Voila, bing, bing, done.
How do you not see stars up there? This is really
well. The going theory right now is you need a noble gas, oxygen, and moisture, and basically the stars actually refract off of the noble gases, and then we actually see the refraction of the star.
They disperse a little, making them slightly better visible.
Cool story.
What?
Look, that's the creativity of science fiction.
Hang on, is that where we're at? What sphere? Ionos, Stratos, Meso? Or
It's somewhere between 5 to 7 miles, and then just boom, gone.
That's in the Ionos right now. So I think it's what is it dense over there? Is it cold up there? What's your idea?
Cold.
Oh, so it's cold. All right. So then there is somewhat of its density. Is cold dense?
Well, there's no like limit. Sometimes it's 5 miles, sometimes it's 8 miles. It all depends the combination in the stratosphere you're in, you know.
But is it true that the Ionos is like the breaking down to everything down to its charges? The higher you go.
Yeah, but it's not like just a straight line around the Earth. It's not perfect, you know.
All right. The reason I'm asking these questions and the distance when we're looking up and what's coming from the panel saying it's 7 miles up. So then, are we observing 7 miles down? Looking down instead? Do we have how about a land location like Mount Everest? How high is Mount Everest? Is it 5 to 7 miles up? Can we see the stars within our area relative to an app called Skyview? Given a reference point where they're supposedly supposed to be at?
Well, I wanted to GPS obviously won't work on a high altitude balloon, but I wanted to use maybe sensors, and I wanted to overlay augmented reality. So, you know, when we put the balloon up, we can kind of know where the stars are at.
GPS could work with an enhancer, with an amplifier. A signal amplifier, of course. You can go 7 miles up.
Well, then why doesn't GPS work on the top of mountains?
Maybe because they block the signal. It's deflected.
How can you block the signal when it's 500? Yeah, exactly. It's 500 miles up, and they're all satellites, right? So.
Oh, right. Yeah. No, but it's all towers, of course. So that's the only reason why there's still areas that don't have reach. Otherwise, they would have had full reach everywhere since the 90s with everything. And they don't.
So I do IT for a living, and you know, I work for a lot of the big tech firms, and so a lot of people don't know this. People will often bring up satellite phones. Satellite phones, what they are is they're just a bigger transmitter that's able to go over the, I think it's 15 watts is FCC regulations. And it gets very dangerous for your brain if you go over 15 watts in signal. And basically, the only thing that satellite phones are allowed to do is go over that 15-watt FCC law. They actually don't go to satellites at all. They're just able to have a bigger transmitter wattage than
long range
than is allowed.
That's what they have
long
now.
range. That's it.
And then
They
you're
use
talking
them in the
about
military, all like in Vietnam and everywhere. And
then you're talking. Let's throw out satellite phone. Is that equipment being used through radio frequency technology?
Yeah, it's just basically radio frequency FCC regulations that are able to go past the safety regulations to get special permission or whatever. That's basically all it is. It doesn't go to satellites.
wasn't GPS originally not just another system that they used? What's it called again? These special long distance scanning towers.
Loran, something like that.
Yeah.
Loran. It used to be called Loran, and then current day they use it still as backup on some of the giant ships. And
Yep.
It's called ELORAN, and apparently it's a little bit less accurate too. Like GPS is up to.
Well, they used that before the official first satellite launch.
Well, another big dead giveaway is GPS cannot do 3D positioning and only can do 2D, X and Y, cannot do the Z. If it was a satellite up in air, it should be able to do X, Y, and Z. There's no reason it shouldn't. The only reason that you couldn't do X, Y, and Z is if it's ground-based. Then you have a problem with 3D space. See the difference?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's all a matter of orientation. I think that's just how they apply it. I think if you want military grade GPS, they can probably perfectly 3D triangulate with it.
Well, supposedly
the right interface. It's all about the interface.
No, supposedly 3D GPS is like the golden egg right now that they want to crack and nobody can crack it. It's one of those things that they just can't seem to do. Sort of like NASA can't use two cameras to show stars in space.
I refuse to believe that. That sounds just ridiculous that they would get stuck on something like that with everything they have.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. That's an excuse.
They're stuck on going back to the moon. Remember?
It's a fake bump in the road, obviously.
Has anybody measured how far or the distance radio frequency can go or communicate from one person to another person here?
Well, there's YouTube videos where you can hook up a Mercury to your antenna, and it will boost your antenna to like 5,000 square miles or something ridiculous. They can in Russia they can get news and TV stations from California.
Oh, like free cable.
Hold on.
I get it.
Hold on. President Nixon called to the moon, remember? Remember?
No, but
that was wired.
That was only possible because he had the Green Moon 3000, Green Moon phone 3000.
Right, yeah.
So the reason that was possible.
It was a landline.
The Merlin 3000.
4-second delay.
Well, it's kind of like did you see the Israel moon launch crash thing?
Yeah,
the cartoon. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, you gotta love technology. It seems to be going downhill for NASA.
No, it was very efficient. It was actually
very efficient cartoon.
They didn't use cameras. They kept it minimal and safe, and they just used 3D models to coordinate everything. Why not?
Also, the 3D model, if it actually in the 3D model, it had like an X and Y and a Z axis, and the thing was like it had like a little fake thrusters, and then it said, "Oh, it crashed," but then the graphic didn't show that, so the graphic is not actually calculating where the thing is. It's literally like a screensaver.
Well, I do have to say one thing about SpaceX. They are at least making it look like we're in the 21st, or what was it, 22nd century now? 21st?
Yes.
22nd?
21st.
It's 21st. Okay. It's always one ahead.
I kind of don't understand how that works though, because everybody's excited that we can land rockets now backwards. Well, that's nice. Well, we went to the moon 6 times between 69 and 72. That's a lot more impressive to me than landing a rocket.
The moon is so weak to gravity.
So, yeah.
We're not doing anything new, are we? We're not doing anything new.
Well, at least SpaceX is at least making it look like we're in the 21st century. It was a little laughable with the technology.
I don't agree. I do not agree with that statement. I'm sorry. I understand what you're saying, but it's poor. Shocking.
Well, they at least look. They at least look like they belong in this period. I mean, anything else, you know.
Look with CGI.
I get what you're saying. Like, I guess to me, like people who are not really paying attention, or to kids today.
What?
Yeah,
left.
yeah. Like I said, at least these spaceships now look like they belong in this century, because what they were using it looked so horrible before Elon got involved.
We have better CGI now. We have better graphics now, don't we?
Well, if you want a real good laugh, go watch a Russian go watch like a 90s or an 80s Russian spacewalk video. Their green screen technology is like 30 years behind ours. It's hilarious.
If I want to laugh,
no longer.
I'll
Watch
go
it.
and hang
Why
out
they're
with
doing it right now. Russia's doing a lot better with their visuals and their designs.
I just love how we're at a war with Russia, yet we still need them to give us a ride to the space.
There is no war. There is no war. Fake war.
And
I know. I'm just telling you what the narrative is. The narrative is,
my bad.
Putin, Putin, he stole our election. Hey, can we get a ride to that thing we have up there?
It's a corporate war.
But come on, but
How
in
would you
medieval
attack
times
How
and
would
the
you win there?
Renaissance, it was widely known that even, for example, France and England, they would war with one another while at the same time trading with one another in secret.
And not only that, they would marry each other's kids off to each other.
Yeah, well, that's how they would then end the war usually. But rulers have been doing this kind of shit for forever.
Yeah, true. Because they trade for wealth, and the wars are to kill the poor. Simple as. Rich people don't go fight wars, do they? Not actually physically go and fight wars.
Arwen, you're saying that to end all wars, really, sex would be the significance of marriage and sex would end all wars?
Well, it has before.
Or sex
Not
created
in this.
these wars?
Not in this day and age. Come on, not in this day and age.
Yeah. Back in the day.
Game of Thrones,
Disclaimer.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. We watch too much Game of Thrones, I think.
I call it. I'm gonna swear here, but I call it a game of sister fuckers.
That's where your mind's at.
Nah,
well, that's basically the narrative of the show.
Making a statement.
If that is your focus of it,
it's not even a sister; it's his twin.
I don't know.
Hey?
Look, that shit really went down back then. So I don't know. I rather refer to Game of Thrones as the look at the lovely, interesting character you really, really like, and see how he's horribly and justly murdered for no good reason at all. That's Game of Thrones.
And for some reason, they're all British.
Really?
Well, all the characters that die are just really likable. It's almost like the new Red Shirt. Oh, he's so likable. Oh, he is gonna die. You know it, but you don't want to believe it because you're already starting to like them.
I don't really like any of them. I find the show very deviant.
I don't know. I find the characters very intense and realistic. It's believable.
Well, it's all about moving the Overton window.
But that's what it is. It's a power struggle. It's empire. It's kingdoms breaking out in empire.
I think it's brainwashing for the youth, but tomato.
I don't know. I think it's a really good series.
I mean, as far as the SJW slant, they balance it very well, and I will give you that.
Exactly. It's just bold and direct and harsh.
Yeah. I will say that Game of Thrones, does balance the, all the different, LGBT, whatever, the incest, the Satanism, they have all these things going on. It's balanced very well.
And homosexuality.
But at the same time, they, for example, do have like a very awesome, very big female warrior that is constantly being threatened by a male world, but still manages. So
that's
at the same time, they really do things just that get to you. They're serious.
Yeah, but it's all about brainwashing and normalizing stuff like that. So
no, not necessarily. No, the individuals that do have a good nature really struggle against the pain, and you see them crumble upon it, even unspoken. And over the series, it's the character changes are really well thought out on the long-term characters. You should like flick through it again.
Did I?
Well, yeah, they have a character arc. Yes, it's very well written. You often don't find that. Like, look at Sabrina. Like Sabrina the Teenage Witch is just basically Satan worship the show. It's not balanced very well at all. So, and if you go look at the way Sabrina the Witch was in the '90s, it kind of was comedic. It wasn't so
cute.
dark. It was cute. Yeah, now it's just slanted.
Narcissistic and evil and dark and look at me, I'm so incredible, I'm so vain.
Yeah, I just found out that Elvis was I forget, he followed Madam somebody. He was basically part of the OTO and whatnot. That really surprised me. I didn't know that. Yeah, that's it. I didn't know that Elvis was a Satanist. I had no idea.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean,
Owen. Owen.
Hmm?
Hi. What's that gentleman's name who, when we're talking about, he always says everything was always here. What's that gentleman's name? What's his name?
Flatner.
He's here.
Oh, is he here? Yeah. I like the way he thinks.
Really?
I can't.
Well, I used to entertain the idea, but it really doesn't work in the end. It's funny how the whole argument about the second law of thermodynamics is being used to prove that it can be, but it seems like a red herring because it is really required.
Can we use anything when we're talking about something that we don't really know about? Can we use anybody else's rules, regulations, laws, parameters? Can we really though?
You have to build with the data that you know is real.
Yeah. I'm not saying we. I'm not. I'm asking. I'm not. You get what I'm not giving up. One second. Wait. I'm just saying. Sorry.
You're very quiet, by the way.
Yeah. Is this better? Louder? Am I louder now?
Much better.
Yeah. I was sorry. I was just thinking. Like he said, everything's has always been here. And then you talk about the second law, and I'm just thinking, can you even start thinking about second laws if you listen to the statement he made?
Well, not only thermodynamics, what about entropy?
It's very difficult because if everything always changes in a certain direction, then it cannot technically be eternal.
Okay, well,
problem.
All right, hear me out then. Yeah, I don't believe it's in our way of thinking or in our design or in our DNA to understand where we are.
Shout out to Brahmi.
That's a position of ignorance fallacy.
Is it really?
Yeah. We can't understand it, so that's it.
I think it's kind of arrogant to think that we're gonna figure out where we are. And
there's one.
We got so lucky. We got so lucky that we happened to live at the time where we all figured out what this is.
No, we want to figure out what we want.
We will not figure it out.
There's 21 dimensions. We only can experience. We're only fifth dimension.
Wait, how many dimensions?
You said 21.
The end state, 21.
Why?
How?
Why? Come on,
it's called the end state.
No, okay, what the hell? Okay, it's called nonsense.
Well, there's only 21 forms of matter.
No. For you to be able to put a number on it, no. I don't.
I'd say there's 33 of them. There's 33 dimensions.
Great.
There you go.
Great.
Well, anyways, we're only fifth dimensional beings. Fourth being time, fifth being consciousness. So
at most
that's a word salad.
Yeah, so there's many more dimensions that we can't even know about. So if we can't know about them.
So Owen,
how do you know there's 21 of them?
Can we go back a minute?
Yeah, right. So what is it?
It's called the end state.
How do we know there are all these dimensions if we don't know about them?
Well,
we don't know about them, but there's 21 of them.
We don't understand the one that we're in, so how can we know how many they are?
Exactly my point.
Because he read it somewhere.
Who did? The guy. Okay, fair enough. Owen.
Whoever says there's 21 of them.
Owen.
Yes, Mike.
Sorry. I said I don't think that it's in our DNA to be able to understand where we are. And what did you say? What was your answer to me? You said that's a ignorant what? What did you say? What was your response?
Position of ignorance fallacy.
Position of ignorance fallacy. All right, thank you. Thanks for that, Owen. I just wanted to clarify what you said. Thanks.
It's just blank out state like I don't think we can know. That's basically giving up.
No, I wouldn't agree. No, because I'm not giving up because I'm here. Therefore, how can I be giving up if I'm in a room such as this discussing topics?
No, I'm not saying that's what you're doing. I'm saying that is what the statement basically does.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks for that. So what you say it's a negative statement then?
Yeah.
I'm glitching out. I can't see who's talking right now. Who's talking?
Mac Smith.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Sorry.
Mac.
Okay.
Yes. Mac, I like the point that you're making, and what happens is that some people place themselves in a position of authority to say what can and can't be done, and they think for some reason when they speak something that it's a fact, but that's not how it goes. All new ideas can be explored, all of them.
Thank you.
Yeah, they're just making declarations. It's meaningless.
So was okay? No, because I'm a bit confused for me to make the statement I made and then for it to be hit with a ignorance fallacy. Did you say fallacy of ignorance? Fair enough. Okay. I don't. If
is there a point you want to get?
Right. Sorry.
Is there a point you want to get to?
Well, I heard an argument.
I get what you're saying, Max. You're trying.
Hey, the channel just dropped. Phone drop.
Right. There was a gentleman that came in a few weeks ago. I think his name was AJ, and he was just rumpusing everybody.
Oh, AJM. Yep.
But he was talking. What was his name?
AJM.
AJM, and he had a point, and he was basically saying you've got two choices: creator or Big Bang. Am I on about the right guy?
Yes.
Yeah, probably.
And he was rumpusing everybody.
That?
But he kept
Hold
saying,
on.
Hold on, I'm gonna troll.
Oh, hello.
Right. So
please mute your YouTube page.
So if there's two arguments.
Hold on, got a moron.
Right. So if there's two arguments, nobody disagreed with him that there are two arguments. Yeah. Big Bang.
Yes.
Creator.
Actually, there was a disagreement because some
simulation.
people think that there's more than just two arguments.
Why? With the simulation theory, Slick?
No, not just that.
Everything has always been here.
Yes. Okay.
That's the third.
Yeah. See, I love that. I'm not saying I believe it.
I love that too.
I disbelieve it. I just
Me
say
too.
I love it. I know you do, Slick, and that was quite surprising for me to hear you agree with him on that. Not for anything. Don't take that with a pinch of salt. It was just quite. It was entertaining. It was refreshing.
I love it too, just as much as the globe.
Right. So
I think.
Go on, Slick.
I was going to say, I think it's probably one of the most profound statements I've heard.
100%, I agree.
Because
I like
it fixes the problem. What it does is it eliminates the chicken and the egg problem.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, who created it? Okay, who created the creator? Where are we? Where are we? Are we in a building? Like some people say, it's an enclosed system. Okay, where is that enclosed system in? Oh, okay, it's in here. Where is that enclosed system in? And that right there tells you it's a loop. It tells you you're living inside the bad word of the fractal. You're living in a never-ending loop. Everything you see around you is a loop.
Over the egg problem.
Owen,
it just inflates it infinitely.
Owen,
no, it doesn't. It fixes
not
it.
The creator. He's just giving you.
It
his
doesn't
theory.
fix the egg or the chicken problem. It just postpones it or inflates the problem infinitely with infinity.
No. But you can't explain
like a
either.
Reserve tactic.
Okay, fair enough.
The chicken has always been here.
No, that's not fair at all. Because when you say infinite, talking about an infinite regress. So on a local level, an egg doesn't last forever. It's just the earth and everything that makes the egg that lasts forever. So it is not an infinite loop. The earth is infinite, not everything in it.
Right. So
on that very distorted note, I'm going to say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the live audience for tuning in and hopefully sharing and subscribing, all that good stuff. If you're watching this on Nathan Oakley channel, then stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow. But unfortunately, as I say, if you're watching this on Nathan Oakley 1980, this is where we bid you farewell. If you'd like to keep yourself occupied after this live stream is over, then go to nathanoakley.com and check out the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Response I gave was not to this statement as a separate statement. It was to your statement as a response to what we were talking about.
Okay.
So,
I mean, we're the maximum we are is fifth dimensional beings. Can you even have a conversation with a 10th dimensional being? Is that even possible?
You need to define these dimensions. You're just saying words. Fifth dimension.
Okay, so fourth dimension is time.
What the hell are you talking about?
So fourth dimension is time. Fifth dimension is consciousness.
Right? Who's talking?
What the hell is consciousness? We don't even. Nobody knows what consciousness is.
Oh, you're thinking right now, aren't you? You're alive. You have a soul.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the fifth dimension.
So the cat thinks. I've seen my cat think. When I point at
Your cat is in the fifth dimensional being as well.
Oh, okay. What about that spider? Is he a fifth dimensional being?
Yes, he is. He has the ability to think.
So what's a fourth dimensional being?
Well, there is no fourth dimensional being. Fourth dimension is time.
Why not? Okay, time is nothing. Time is just something that people made up to keep track of the, passing of people getting older and dying. That's all time is. It's not a thing. Time is just a construct.
Well, time is entropy.
Well, plus there's
entropy
also
is a dimension. How do we go from entropy to dimension? Make any sense?
Well,
but I mean,
Slick, go on, Slick.
Now, I was going to say, don't forget the version of time of planting and harvesting, because you have to know when to do that, and that involves time that's set by the universe.
You think time exists, Slick?
No, I'm saying in order to plant and harvest, you have to know when.
Cycles.
Yes.
Cycles exist.
Cycle.
Sure, but,
yeah. Seasons.
Yeah. But so what's a two-dimensional being?
A cartoon.
What?
Cartoon is on a two-dimensional plane. Your screen you're looking at right now is a two-dimensional plane, right?
You said two-dimensional being, did he say? Or did I not hear it?
Yeah, I said being.
You said
You're talking
being.
about beings. I'm not talking about
We can't experience. We only can experience the third and fifth dimension. That's it. Well, we can't experience time, but not really.
You just
How
making shit up,
I want to know. I want to go to his school.
Yeah, this is just like a new age, whatever. Like, I see what you're saying, but
I'll make it more accurate. We're fifth dimensional beings living in a three-dimensional.
That just made it
plane.
more convoluted.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to help.
Who's this speaking? Who's talking about dimensions?
Plexus.
Okay. Hi, Plexus.
Hi, man. How you doing?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's an 11-dimensional being?
Hi. How are you, man? Nice to meet you.
Good. Nice to meet you, sir. Slick, Arwin, respect. How you doing? Sorry,
Hello.
Yeah. Going back to, it was always here. Everything was always here. Someone was. Oh, Arwin, he loves that, doesn't he?
I love that topic.
Yeah.
Me too. So do I. I can't get enough of it.
A few weeks ago, a friend of mine was telling me how long this place has been here for. And I said, this place has always been here. That was just my gut reaction, what I said to him. I said, you can't put a time or a year or a date on how long this place has been here. I said, this place has been here forever. It's been here always. And I don't know how to expand on that.
Instant
reaction.
A great way to expand that, how they get the Earth's age is through geology and and also carbon dating. But the problem with carbon dating is you can take one object, you test one side, it'll test 1 year old.
Yeah,
you test another side, it tests 10 million. So basically, that's nothing.
Nothing. Yeah.
Where do we get this date from?
What date?
They use carbon dating and also the not stratosphere. What are the layers called when you dig down? I forget. right now. Sorry.
You have the crust, you have the mantle, you have the upper core, you have the inner core.
No, I'm talking about the actual layers of sediment. You know. They actually we'll dig down, just decide, okay, well, I've dug 7 feet and I found this, so it takes 18 million years to get this 7 feet, so this must be 18 million years old. And they take carbon dating and they kind of take those two and come up with the age. That's how it's done.
Well, how do you know how deep it is? Nobody knows how deep it is.
They just came up with these numbers. Yeah, exactly.
You don't know how deep it goes. You don't know how old it is. I mean,
yeah, if you dig down 1 foot, you're never gonna know the age because it's only 1 feet, you know.
Okay.
No, I'm saying you dig down a mile, you find some stuff. Dig down 2 miles, you find some stuff, and you somehow come up with an equation that says, okay, this is the X amount of years.
All right.
You don't know the full depth. How are you gonna know how are you gonna come up with that ratio?
Yeah, well, like I said, they use that and radiocarbon dating, and they just kind of throw those two variables together and come up with the age.
Well, yeah, now we're talking about that. Did you guys see? Obviously, I'm just saying. Did you guys see the mud floods of Tartaria?
Where did Tartaria come from, by the way? That just kind of what is Tartaria? Is this just some society that was hidden that we just discovered?
That's what I thought.
Martin Litzke.
Right. So if we take that with a pinch of salt, and mud floods came now and again whenever they felt like it, how can you carbon date anything? Because the mud floods would mess up all the sediment, all the years, the times, the ages, the dates. It would reset everything. So how can you go by anything? How can you go by the soil you're standing on?
I guess they do it in places where I don't know. Well, there's also
is that you,
glaciers
Plexus?
too.
Is that you again, Plexus?
No, I'm right here.
That was Eartha, wasn't it? Okay, cool. Yeah. It throws everything out, doesn't it? So
it was glitching out for you, Mac. That's why I was asking earlier. So whatever, it doesn't matter as long as we're able to talk.
Yeah. But yeah, everything was always here. That's the best.
I think that pissed off R when he left.
Yeah, because he doesn't like the fact that everything was always here, innit?
I don't agree with your premise about everything always being here.
That's not my premise. I think that's Earth, isn't it? What's his name?
See, these things happen.
Flat Earth. Sorry, my bad.
These things happen when you have a view and you have that view set in stone. When new ideas come along, you're unable to move because you're already set in stone. It's just like globe people. They're already set in stone with their beliefs. So there's new information comes along. They just can't relate to it. So that's what happens.
Well, I find the other half is
that could be said of you.
No, it can't.
Could be said of you. So
no, it can't.
Flat Earth gets proven, God gets proven, and a lot of people are scared to be judged. And that's what I find out the most.
This is not a test.
See, I don't have anything set in stone because I only go by my experience, and my experience is just what it is.
Yeah.
It's not me setting anything in stone saying this is how it is. No, I don't do that. I make a special point not to do that.
Slick.
Yes.
There's no distance to the sun.
Whatever works for you.
No, measured. It's got to be measured, isn't it? You kill him every time with that.
Well, is the sun even really there, or is it just a refraction from another dimension?
See, for me, in my experience, the sun is just what it needs to be. I don't question the sun. I have no reason to, because the sun did whatever it does before I got here. And when I got here, it didn't change anything. So there's no need for me to question the sun.
That's the best view I've ever heard.
Thank you.
But when he says things like that, people here don't accept it. They think to have an answer, or he's just being ignorant and deflecting from a point, even though he tells them off the bat that the sun is just what it needs to be. They can't accept it. They have
Yep.
to have it one way or the next. They
Yep.
have to have a ball. They have to have it a flat earth or whatever. They can't just say, I don't know. And that's the part that we have to all break down.
Yeah. Agreed.
Well, I actually like not knowing. A mystery is fun. When you know everything, it kind of takes the fun out of it.
True. Well,
that's
one thing.
I was going to say that's some of the mistakes that man makes. They cement themselves in a position, and then they can't get out of it, and then they blame other people for their own position that they put themselves in.
Yeah, this comes back to the story of Adam as well. You know, the God complex that man has.
Yeah.
Right. I'm going to bid you all a good night, yeah? And I'll see you soon. Hopefully, I'll be able to get into another chat and speak to you all soon. So thanks for speaking to me. Thanks for your time, gentlemen. Thank you very much.
Oh, Mac, I enjoyed you a lot. I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah, I listen all the time. I listen all the time when I can, but just getting on's hard. Good night, gentlemen. Bye-bye.
Take it easy.
Good night.
Flat Earther or Slick, answer this question. How would you prove that the universe has always existed scientifically? How would you go about proving that?
And see, that's the thing right there. Why go about proving it? Because whatever the universe is, it already is that way. There's no need to prove it. It's proven itself.
Proven that you experience it and it exists, but that doesn't prove that it's always existed.
Right, but the thing is, we're just.
Hey, you're sounding really bad.
Yeah, Flat Earth, you're mumbling really bad. You're breaking up. So you and Flat Earther have a belief that the universe has always existed, correct?
No. There's no. Hold on. I just got to stop you because there's no belief involved. It's an idea. It's information. We're just processing information. That's all.
Yeah, I have to agree with him. So I think that people always said there's two options. Either it was created or it was just random chance. And
isn't it random chance creation?
Intelligent creation. Sorry, intelligent design or random chance. It just came. But now there's another option.
How can you say that the random chance wasn't part of the intelligent design? I never got that part.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying that, but if you talk to this standard rhetoric, is that evolution, Big Bang, all random. Something exploded out of nothing, and then eventually cooled down, and then everything was created. And then monkeys and man. So there you go. That's no one's in charge. There's no intelligent design. And then there's the version of intelligently designed, meaning somebody was like, all right, let's make this. Let's make penguins. Let's make donkeys. Let's make Hindus. Let's make giraffes. Okay, now if it was one guy or a team, whatever, it doesn't matter. It was intelligently designed. And so that was the paradigm. And now the idea of, listen, it's always been here. It's just always been here. Everything dies and then it gets recreated. Certain things die off. It just basically other things micro evolve, not macro evolve. Like a fox will move to a colder climate, and the fur gets kind of white, or the beak gets a little longer because it has to reach that. Sure, I believe that.
Yeah, Dr. Dino. Yeah, I love his stuff. I watch it sometimes.
I don't know who that is, but what I'm saying is, like, you see people born with certain attributes. Oh, look, he's got a long arm, or look, he's got a stubby shoulders, whatever. And if that was advantageous to your environment and you bred and you created more offspring, and there's chances that they will inherit that attribute, right? But as far as microevolution, sure, but as far as it just coming out of nowhere and then a fish eventually turning into a mammal, that's
adaptation versus evolution.
Yes, I believe in adaptation and things being, but the idea
I've never witnessed
always been here.
Yeah,
always been here.
There's no evidence of a cat turned into a dog or a giraffe turned into a dolphin. It doesn't exist.
Well, they say because we don't live long enough. If you lived a million years, you'll see it. Oh, okay, great, thanks.
Well, where's the millions of transitional species? Because you would have to have just scores and scores of dead dolphin giraffes just in piles trying to make it on land for millennia. You would just have.
Well, they turn into oil, so that's what they say. So they all got buried under vegetation and then sediments, and then millions went by, and then look, now you got petrol in your car, right? That's the rhetoric. Or so what I'm saying is option 2, or what the new option is. I'm not saying this obviously, but I entertain the idea that it's always been here, and it just all the stuff keep looping. You have trees making other trees. You have fish making other fish. You have people making other people. There you go.
Come here.
How would you go about proving that the universe has always existed scientifically? How would you go about that?
I'm not going. I cannot prove these things. Some of these things are unprovable. Like proving what the sun is. I can't do it. I'm sorry. I don't have a proof. All I'm saying is I will entertain the idea. So I'm not set in stone like some people believe that, the Jesus of Nazareth, 100%. I 100% agree that I am 100% in that that's how it happened. That's some people's camp, and that's fine. But I say I don't know. That's an option. Always been here is an option. Intelligent design is an option. They're all options. I don't know. I don't know. I like talking about it. I like learning about new ideas. But as far as picking a team,
and
do I think that Nazareth is the guy? Very, very small chance. Could it always been here? Sure. To me, that's more of a chance than some guy who came in late in the party, just like 2,000 years ago.
That still doesn't answer. That still doesn't answer my question. I mean, how would you go about proving the universe has always existed? How would you go about that?
Well, Paul,
thermodynamics.
Well, no,
just use thermodynamics.
No, you can't. You can't because you have to.
Yes,
you have to presuppose that the universe is made in these 3 dimensions, right? Of matter.
You just see what it is. It's obvious what it is.
But that's only. Can you prove that the universe only exists in 3-dimensional space? You can't, because you can't even prove it.
Yeah, I'm not making that assertion. So why would I have to prove that? I'm not making that assertion. Just saying our reality
the only thing you can do is
reality.
Okay, all you can do through current experience and observation is say, as you observe it, this is what it is. But you can't go back in the past using your experience to determine what happened in the past. You can't do that, and you can't use the scientific method to accomplish that either. Correct?
Paul, I would ask you this question.
Yes.
Let me ask Paul this question. Paul, is it always now?
I can agree that I'm always living in the present, and I can agree with you on that statement. But that's not my question. I said,
right, but I understand.
Hang on.
No, I understand, but I'm just saying that may be the answer to your question. It's always now. That could be the answer. Just process that.
But you've said that it's always existed, so that means that in the past, which means before you came into being, before I came into being, before Flat Earther came into being, the universe always existed before then. Correct?
Right.
But the thing you said the magic word. If it always existed, there is no past.
I've not said that. I'm asking, how would you prove it's always existed? All you can prove at the very moment is that I'm experiencing this world. But you can't prove scientifically or in the you can't project that into the past.
Paul, they cracked time travel. You do know that, right? They announced it last month.
What are you talking about, sir?
Yeah, they cracked time travel. They're able to move particles.
They cracked time travel. What does that even mean?
They're able to send particles into
probably
the
has
future.
to do with quantum mechanics.
They are able to send particles. Who are these days, and who are these? What kind of particles are they sending? What are you talking about?
Yeah, well, I'll pull up an article. They announced it last month. They might be getting the Nobel Prize.
Let's just. Oh wow, Nobel Prize.
Oh yeah, it's official science now.
Okay, cool. The same Nobel
like
Prize
I said,
you gave
Paul,
Obama.
Okay, wait a minute. They haven't even. They might have sent. Let's say they send a particle in the past. They haven't proved that they sent a person into the past. So
steps.
Even though you may say that, and that might be even an article.
They're
I
not
get that.
sending
That's
anything
still
into the past.
you still not
can't
proving
send things to the past. It's
Okay,
nonsense.
Anon, I'm actually probably agree with you. So that's a mute point. But that's still my point is still in play. Is all you can do is determine what's going on at the moment, but you can't use a scientific or even your experience to prove what's happened in the past. There's another means by which you have to determine that. And so, no, I mean, I can't say the universe has always existed in that sense of the word, because I can't go back and say, well, I was here when it was or at the beginning. I wasn't there millions of years before that. I wasn't here infinity before that. So that's a whole. You can't prove it on your pure experience alone. You can't.
But then the answer to one of your questions, Paul, now would prove it, because it's always now, and it always has been now. Are you telling me that now is?
Do you believe in time?
No, I'm not talking about beliefs. I'm not talking about beliefs. I'm talking about it's now. It's always now.
I'm not. I didn't disagree with that point. That now you're always living in the present. You can't live in the past.
No, I'm not talking about living. I'm not talking about living in the past or living in the present. It's always listen. No, it's always now. That's the statement.
I love that. That's awesome, Slick. I don't usually like your points, but this one, it's always now. Holy shit, I get that. I see what you're saying. It's always now.
Me too.
That's awesome.
It seems obvious, doesn't it?
It means nothing. It means nothing, though.
It means nothing, yeah.
To me, to me.
Well, it means nothing in the sense of what I'm trying to say.
That means nothing because you don't like it.
What I'm trying to say.
It means nothing because
no,
you don't
I
like
didn't say that.
It is always
I
now.
agree.
That's awesome.
Oh, such a profound statement. It's always now. Well, yeah. I'm living in the present moment.
Listen,
it should be profound for you because it had to be broken down for you. It should be more profound for you.
No.
Paul, I've been in more arguments.
It.
I've been in more arguments with Slick than with you. We've had all kinds of things, and I'm not gonna. It's not like I'm trying to, what do you call it? Like, suck up to him or anything. Like, I call his bullshit when I hear it. But this one, it actually resonates with me, because it's always now, and when you go back, it's always now. How and then when is it not now? Like, how did it's always now? It's one of those things that that statement shows you the loop. No, it shows you it crystallizes for me the loop that it's always now, and things always loop. Everything loops.
Is there a past moment?
Yeah, and at that time it was now. Yeah, there is a past, but the past at the time was now.
Okay, so I'm reading the article here, and they actually sent the particle into the past, not the future.
No, they didn't. They didn't send anything anywhere.
This is the official press announcement.
Stuff to the past.
I'm not arguing that point. I'm just saying this is what they announced. Whether they can do it or not, that's subjective. But this is what they're announcing.
Yeah, they can announce. They see unicorns and Pegasi. I don't believe it. Can't send stuff into the past. Sorry, there's no such thing as time travel. It's a cool story. It's a good movie. That's about it.
ASX. Hello.
Yeah, it's called a circulation loop. Is how they did it with a quantum computer, whatever that means.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Thank you. Are you having another live show today, or that was
no? Both. I've done both.
Oh, you've done both. Okay.
That said, this is being recorded, so if you had something specific to say, this will reach an audience just in a few hours' time.
No, that's fine. Just here to listen. If you don't mind.
I don't mind at all.
To me that
just so you know, you're part of the after show. Sorry. Just so you know.
It's obvious to me that everything has always been here through my existence, and I've had 43 years of this to see it. And so I would rather believe that over believing a Bible as a historical fact.
But see, I didn't even brought up the Bible, so I don't even know why
Yeah.
you're jumping that gun. I've not even brought up that issue.
Because that is
jumped
the
jumped
issue.
an issue.
It's a
Well,
creator
No.
versus always been here. That's the issue.
Well, flat Earth.
That's the two only.
A flat Earth is proven.
Hold on.
So anyway, so then through this flat Earth debate, I realized that the laws of thermodynamics also apply to everything always been here, because matter cannot be created nor destroyed. Just
we
because
talked about this in this world. You're right, in this world. But if God exists out time and space, and there was a beginning to existence, then God would not be bound by that, and He can create the laws in which this world is governed.
And that's
but I know,
your
but
claim.
you only have two options.
That's
Either
your claim.
well, your
My claim is that we are here, and it's obvious. You're putting something outside what's needed, so it's up to you to prove it.
Well, you've got to prove that we've always existed. That's your point. But you haven't. All you said is you've only lived on this world. I don't know how old you are, but you've only lived on this world a couple of decades. Okay, so 3 decades you've lived on this world, and you can't prove that beyond your 30 years of existence, your existence on this earth, that the world was existing before you were here.
Right, like I said, it's obvious to me that it's always been here because everything is going through a cycle, but the laws of thermodynamics, which is science allegedly, reinforces my point, because matter can't be created nor destroyed. Matter cannot be created nor destroyed is the one that I'm applying right now.
What about the usable energy is running out and running down?
Right. See, I don't think total energy is running out. I think they put that in to prove your creator point. Because we can't know that entropy is running out because we don't know what the sun is. The sun may be taking this unusable energy and using it as energy. We have no idea.
We do.
But what I can tell you is our reality is...
Yeah, but we do. We watch it happen. Yeah. It's like the biggest entropy generator there is.
The sun is?
Yeah.
The sun never changes.
But all it's doing is driving entropy. That's all that it's doing ever. John went through this with you with the sunburn example. Do you remember?
Right. Yeah, and it was retarded. Just because you guys don't get it. You guys make declarations, but it doesn't make it so.
But the sun
everything is going through a cycle.
What the sun is doing, hold on. What the sun is doing to the rusty car, sure, it's increasing entropy. It's allowing the thing to break down. But at the same time, the same sun, when it hits a plant, it activates certain chemicals to do work. Okay? And at the same time, when it hits a body of water, it heats it up and then it makes it go up. So it's not just John's car he left in the desert that we have to look at. We have to look at everything that the sun hits, and the sun hits pretty much everything except the bottom of the ocean and inside the caves.
Yep,
so
everything is going through cycles. Total entropy is not increasing.
For certain things, it breaks them down. On certain things, it gives them life and it activates them and gives them energy and to do things, do work. And that work is what's put into the system. And it's the perfect equilibrium. Well, the sun puts it in.
And also the
sun breaks down the trash.
Hang on.
The sun breaks down the trash. Don't change it to information. It's not information. It's just existence. Stay on point.
No, it takes the information to process the energy. We've said this before, and you don't acknowledge that. I mean, there's information.
No, that's not true. You can.
That's not explanation.
When the sun hits the body of water, it heats it up. There's no information there. There's no thought there. There's no.
But there's information inside the cell. Right. Well, that's my point is when it hits a plant
I'm not talking about the plant. I see where you're going.
I think what he's trying to say is that
I'm saying water.
Yeah, I think
water, heats it up.
What he's trying to say is that water itself has the information that on certain heat, with certain heat, is gonna have to boil, and that's what he's trying to say.
Yeah, and it's not information. Information is just something that we apply. The water just exists and does what it does. Doesn't need information.
That's information, right? Within the water
itself. It is information for us to understand it, but
not for us,
water
for
is
the
just
water,
existing.
right?
Nope, for the water is just existing. It doesn't need information.
Well,
information is for us to understand it.
They can store they can store data inside water, so
Right,
yeah,
and there are time
water
machines.
stored
And there are
data.
time machines. Yes, I got it. Time machines, and they can store information in water. Okay.
So are you saying water has no information?
Water is just hydrogen and oxygen bound together molecules.
But that's information, right?
Is it? No, that's not.
Oh, it's not.
Just it. It is. It's just is. Information is. First of all, you need to set a protocol if you want to have information exchange, usage of information. So you can call it information. You can call it whatever you want. That's a person, a human would want to categorize it as information. But to the water, it just is. And when it gets warm, it evaporates, goes up, rains down on a bunch of plants. The plants eat it, and then they use the sun again. They pull nutrients from the dirt. They go up, and then somebody they create the leaf, whatever. Leaf falls. Eventually, somebody hammers it down, and it falls down. It burns. It turns to charcoal. Charcoal goes to it's all a loop. Everything is a loop. It's always been here. Everything loops.
Yep. It's not information.
Loop. It's a toroid. It's same thing with a magnet, like a magnetic field. It's a toroid. You got things coming out and then going back in. It's a loop. Yin and yang. It's a loop. It's all a loop.
Yeah, it's not information. It's not a code. It's just all ingredients working together or against each other in a balance.
Okay, let me ask you a question, Flatner. We talked about this before. So if you are correct, and we're just existing, and you're just molecules bouncing back and forth, and you're just a cycle, then how can I know what you are saying has any truth value to it or any information value to it if that's all you are?
You can't. That's up for you to decide what you want to think of me or how you want to apply things. It's your reality. You do with it what you want.
Well, then it's meaningless, right? What you're saying, right?
That's my point. Then everything you say is meaningless. So really, I don't have to accept anything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
As far as if and nothing. Yes. So nothing. Even my statements, nobody's statements have any truth value.
Yes.
We're just fizzing. We're just fizzing. Hold on. Yes. We're just fizzing bottles of chemical processes. So really, then why are we having this debate?
Yeah, sorry guys.
So why are we having this debate?
I don't think you're special. I don't think I'm special. Yes, that's right.
So why are you on this debate ting to argue? Or?
No, you're not. You think time machines exist.
I never said they exist. I said they announced it. There's the difference. So you can't blame. You're making the same fallacy that the globe earthers make. Just because information's out there and I've read it, does not. I never said I supported it. Never said I believed it. I only quoted it as an announcement. When in that statement did I take responsibility for the science? Is my question.
Yeah, you brought it up.
And I'm listening to Paul, and you're making a statement, well, if we're this and if we're that. Well, what you're trying to do there is you're describing reality, and reality doesn't need your description of it. Your description of it doesn't mean anything. Reality is what it is, no matter what you think of it.
Well, as far as but if we're subjectively experiencing reality, then again, we're back to square one. How do I know that my experience is true or not? And if I'm just a fizzing bunch of chemicals, I can't really trust that my experience of the world of reality, whatever this reality is, because I'm just physical chemical processes occurring in nature, then even my experience could be just a soda can popping with this fuzz coming out. That's all it is. That's all we are.
Yeah.
So really, even my experience becomes mute. It just all starts to fall apart. It starts to crumble under itself.
Yeah,
but
if you choose to live that way. Sorry, go ahead.
The thing is, now still is what it is. now will never change. It's still going to be. See, that's the thing about reality. It doesn't need anybody's interpretation. It just is.
That's awesome. That's what I was going to say.
Oh, you're
Love you, Slick.
just fizzing at me. Thanks for your words, Slick. You're just fizzing at me. You're just
sure,
fizzing.
whatever
Yeah,
works
up
for
to
you.
you.
Just fizzing. Just fizzing. Just fizzing. That's all I'm hearing. It's just fizzing. Just fizzle.
Yeah.
Whatever works for you.
That's right.
Just hot air
That's right.
blowing. Just hot air. Just vibrations in the air. That's all
Exactly.
it is.
Yes. That's all
You
we
got
are.
it.
If we all get thrown
Okay.
into a pile and don't exist anymore, Earth will be fine. It'll know what to do with us without us. We are not significant.
Wow, that's such
But I
a
still
meaningful statement. Thank you.
But I
That's
still,
such a
I
meaningful
still think you
statement.
guys are
Wonderful.
awesome. That's all I need.
I don't think you
Oh,
live as what you're saying. I don't think you live your life as if it was meaningless.
No, definitely not.
Oh,
What
then,
kind of
then
existence
why
would that
not?
be?
Why
It
not?
doesn't mean I have to have a creator
Why not?
to feel like I'm important.
No. You say life itself it's like it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't.
But you don't live it that way.
We don't matter.
I know you don't. No. I know you do matter. You say we don't matter, but you don't live it that way. So you're just hypocrite. I don't know how we say it.
I'm being a hypocrite.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, he's not living. He's not living consistent with his belief system, with his understanding, his understanding of this world.
That's
He's
what I
not
was
living
trying to say.
consistent with it.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
But what you guys
All right.
are doing is
wait, they're attacking me now. So, all right. So, yeah, I think we aren't significant. I think we
we're
are
attacking your
pointless.
belief system.
I think you think that I think or I do think we're pointless, but I still have senses. I still have feelings. I still love. I still hate. I have a family and I love them. I want to be here for as long as possible. And I don't need anything beyond that to want to exist. All I need is my wife and my children to want to exist. I don't need a creator to feel special.
But see, all you're saying though, if I apply what you just said, even your love, your hate, your significance, the meaning you have is just chemical processes fizzing.
It's meaningless.
Like a can of Coke.
Correct.
But the mistake you guys are making is you're trying to apply your lives to his. That's the mistake you're making.
We're applying his logic to himself. We're using his own logic to himself. He's saying I have love in it, but yeah, all that he said is meaningless. It has no value at all.
Yeah, having all those emotions doesn't mean I matter. I just have those emotions and I choose to embrace my senses.
Yeah, but you just said the love for your wife and your kids, that's meaningless also then. It's
Yes, in 100 years,
for you that's
all
logic?
those people will be forgotten. I don't care about that.
All right.
It's about now.
What I love is now. I wouldn't want to be any place other than now talking to you guys. This is incredible. I don't care if there's a creator or not. This is crazy. It's amazing. You guys are great.
But see, even you're caring. But see, even you're caring about us and loving this is just.
It's meaningless what you're saying.
Yes, it is. So what?
Then why it has no meaning then to me. You say it's great. No, it's meaningless. It has no value at all.
We're not going to be able to vibe in life if you live your
those
life
are
like
empty
that. You can't do that.
Those are empty words.
Has no value because you don't understand what I'm saying.
For your value.
Okay.
Based on your logic.
Let me try to explain this. Please give me 1 second. Let me try to explain this, and then I'm gonna go on mute because I'm in the office. So listen, what he's saying is that it's relative to him at this moment. It's important to him. There are good feelings and there are bad feelings. Everybody wants to feel special, and his family makes him feel special, and he makes his family feel special. There is a whole bunch of special stuff going on right there, except it's only within that bubble. And as soon as he dies and 2 generations go by, odds are no one's going to remember any of us. Okay? So, in the big run, hold on. In the big picture, when you look at the forest, it's all meaningless. Correct. You are right. But if you are the tree, which we are, then it is meaningful at that time where we are. The time is now. So at this moment, it's special to him, and he's enjoying it, and he's enjoying his inputs and outputs that he gets with his meat machine. But what he's saying is,
here's the thing, Anand.
None of this shit matters.
Anand, the only problem with what you're saying is this. I mean, a flat earther believes that all he is a bunch of chemicals. That's all he believes. A bunch of forces interacting with one another. To rise above and say, wait a minute, I know. Well, hang on. But to say that I'm going to enjoy life despite that means you're rising above your chemicals. And the only way you can do that is if you're more than your chemicals.
That's not true.
No.
No, the dolphin enjoys it. Dolphin enjoys living and being a dolphin, jumping around and catching fish.
I'm not talking about dolphins. I'm talking about
dolphins.
Prisoners with life sentences, they still somehow find some meaning, even though they'll be in there forever.
We're not talking about what you can. I'm saying the logical outcome of your worldview is that technically, even someone enjoying you're saying you're enjoying something, whatever that is, whether it's your child, whether it's your wife, whether it's the beautiful day out there, whether it's this panel, is ultimately, even in the now, is meaningless because all it is chemical interactions in your brain. That's all it is.
In the now,
you're trying to impose it onto something.
No.
This is according to his definition, not mine.
Listen,
this is Flat Earther's definition.
In the now, it's important to him because he actually experiences those feelings that he gets. So in the now, it is important to him.
Even his feelings of importance is just chemical processes happening in his brain. Forces interacting with. I know. That which means it's truly even his feelings of importance is meaningless.
It is.
It has no value.
I'm sorry.
No.
It has no value.
Let me just say something, Paul. The only thing that is meaningless is what you're saying about his life.
This seems very
I'm just going by his definition.
Right, but no, you're not going by your definition. No, you're not going by his definition. You're going by your definition because he said what he said plainly. And if he said what he said was clear, he didn't need you to come along and redefine it for him because he was clear when he said it.
Okay, you are wrong. He already explained his belief. You are wrong. All his words, the way he explained is meaningless. It doesn't matter what you say. He already told us how he thinks. So whatever he says is meaningless, no matter how he explains it.
SX, let me hang on a second. Flat Earth, let me just ask you straight up. Do you believe your feeling of joy is just chemical processes occurring in your brain?
Yes.
There you go. Is your feeling of enjoyment chemical processes in your brain?
Yes.
Is Earth a reality? Is it really here? Is it? No, I didn't. You're just saying you want me to make this point so it reinforces the rest of your point. But just because I agree with this doesn't mean I agree with everything else you said.
But see, I don't think you understand the consequence of what you're saying. If it all is just chemical processes in your brain, then there is no, in a sense, truth value to it. Because all I am is a bunch of chemical processes in my brain, and it doesn't mean anything. It has no meaning, no value. It doesn't. I mean, you're going to have to show me how chemical processes can infer meaning and purpose. You're going to have to show that to me.
Yeah.
Show me how chemical processes can infer meaning and truth value and things that are of value. You're going to have to show that to me. And you haven't. But I mean, if you want to, go for it.
No, reality is what it is. It's obvious. You have to prove to me a creator because it's outside of thermodynamics, which is not nature.
I've already said that God exists outside of this world, and He doesn't abide by those principles.
No, He does. The thing is, it's not that He exists outside; is that He's not needed. So that's why it's outside because you don't need it. It doesn't exist.
So now you're
have
red
to prove
herring
its
me.
existence.
You're red herring.
No, I'm not.
You're red herring. No, I'm saying I asked you a specific question. Explain to me how you can get meaning and purpose and things of importance from chemical processes.
Well, apparently we're doing it now. And everything in life, everything is natural. I am on this earth. I am a natural being just like everything else. And we are doing it right now. I think that's proof enough. You think that we have some kind of conscience that comes from a creator, which we cannot see, which we're not experiences, which is outside of the laws of thermodynamics. So now it's on you to explain that to me. Because everything I'm saying is a part of nature.
Saying, I could prove it real simply. Even you saying that you have, I said it before, I already kind of proved it. I said, by you rising above and saying, I'm going to be more than my chemical processes. I'm going to impose meaning in this world, even though there is no meaning. You have just, by that statement yourself, proven that you're more than the chemical processes.
But you know, there's another thing just that's being missed here too.
You're making a choice to be more than that. That choice implies that you're more than a chemical and machine system.
Here's another thought that may be missed that may help the whole situation. The creator may be existence. That is a possibility.
But you're getting into the issues of if it's had a beginning.
The creator exists, though.
I'm not getting into anything. I just made a statement that could be possible. The creator could be existence itself.
Prove it to me.
I'm not into prove anything. I'm just having a conversation. It's just information.
Okay, but is that information true?
It's just information.
Why do you have to put everything in a box? Why is it? I mean,
me or Slick?
Just in general, like earlier when I was talking about the scientists made a national press announcement that because I mentioned it, suddenly I took a responsibility for it. It's like, you know, not everything has to be proven, and you don't have to be responsible for everybody. You know, it doesn't really work like that.
See, it's just that would be something that would help all the way around. It's just a thought. Maybe the creator is existence itself. It's just a thought. It doesn't mean anything. It's just information. Do what you will with it.
Well, the other thing that people forget is if when you make Earth, you made a system. Now, everybody says God is all powerful. Well, if he's all powerful and he comes in and messes with the system, he destroys the system. So, in a sense, God locks his hands when he creates and then hold on, you know, then you have to ask yourself, well, I want God to change everything, but if he changes everything, it destroys existence, but I like existing. Do you understand what I'm getting at here?
Well, there's assumptions in your argument that, I mean, if you say God monkeys with the system, he messes up with the system. Well, if he's sovereign over the system, he can monkey with it and still not mess it up. So
no, well, not really. I mean,
a bit of a fallacious.
Well, when you create a system, rules get put in place where they're in or out of anybody's control. They are just the rules of the system because you create the system. Now, you can complain, I don't like this system, but do you want that system destroyed? Because then you won't exist.
No, I don't understand. I guess I'm missing your point.
Okay, we need to breathe oxygen. The system of gases had to be made for humans to breathe oxygen, right? Now, if God comes and messes with things, it's going to destroy oxygen. Okay, so now that destroys the whole planet. So, he's all powerful. He's all powerful in one sense, but he also gets his hands locked when he makes a system. It's not just one way.
Well, there's assumptions in your premise. I mean, again, we've talked about this in last week, but if God chose to intervene in the system, he can change the system, but it still not cause the system to malfunction.
But that's no longer that's no longer a system, though, because if you change the system, that's not the system we had. That's just a new system. You've just created a new reality. Which means you destroyed the whole system.
Well, you'd have to understand fully how the system works and how he has designed the system. And you're making assumptions that, you know, if there's a creator, that you're making so many assumptions on what he could and couldn't do in his own system that he created, or what he put on the back end, like a hacker putting a back door into the system. God could have multiple back doors into the system that you don't know about. So, there's a lot of assumptions in your statement that I don't know if I agree with. So,
Well,
But
when you create reality, it creates certain the systems create certain rules, and some of those rules cannot be broken.
But if God is sovereign over the system, He could change the rule at this moment just to accomplish a task and reset the system to keep on
It's
functioning.
no longer the system. You've broken the system.
Okay, we're going around in circles.
Everything you're both saying is total assumptions. You don't even know if a God exists.
But you're
What you
assuming as
just
well,
said is
Flatner, that you
meaningless.
can't. Yep. Just fizzing. Just Coke,
Yeah.
can of Coke fizzing.
I'm just gonna
do
keep
with
on it.
my information. Do it with my information what you will. I don't
Meaningless.
care.
Meaningless.
That's fine.
Isn't that the whole point why they try to sell us a globe Earth is to make us meaningless in the first place? Shouldn't we be thinking the opposite?
Yeah. But for some reason, people love to feel meaningless.
I think it's more scared that something's bigger than them. It's kind of like the bigger shark mentality, you know?
I think it's also to another level. There's an accountability factor.
Yeah,
exactly.
Judge.
There's potentially, and as long as you're God of your own reality, then you're accountable to no one. You know, and so no one can hold you. No one need to hold you accountable or can hold you accountable.
Yeah, but this comes back to reality. And this comes back to original sin.
But hold on. I got a thing for that. What if justice is built into you and it's inescapable?
Now you say built into you. What do you mean by built into you? What do you mean?
In other words, what if justice is inescapable?
No, I said what? What is it? You said inescapable, which means what?
In other words, justice must be. In other words, there's no way of getting around justice because it's built in.
I mean, to say built in, building implies something. To say it's been built implies something.
What I'm saying is, what if justice is built into existence? It's part of existence. In other words, they're intertwined as one. What if that's the case?
Well, they kind of are, because Paul, you feel guilty if you do something wrong, right?
That's not me. Slick was talking, but I mean, as a Christian, as a person that believes in the Creator, I agree with you, Slick, that I think God has built into this awareness inside of all of us, awareness of what's right and what's wrong. So that's why I was saying you said built it, but you said built, which means implying a builder, which
right.
Well,
maybe let's
creator.
Forget the word built. That's just a wrong choice of words. What if justice and existence is all part of the same existence? In other words, what if in other words, the point is this, the point that I'm making is just because somebody chooses to be an atheist doesn't mean they can escape justice. That's the point that I'm making.
Well, to imply justice, to say that you have to be, something is just, you're implying something that there also is an unjust, which means there's some kind of standard by which you evaluate something to be true or not true. Or a moral value and no moral value. That's what when you say justice, that's what you're implying.
No, that's not what I'm implying. What I'm implying is just what justice is. Justice is justice. It doesn't need to be described or explained. Justice is justice.
Justice is justice.
You have to define justice, Slick, and you've not done it. You're just making a statement. So you have to define justice. What do you mean by
justice? If you need justice defined for you, then that's not my problem.
But you're saying justice is built, but you won't define justice. So I don't even know what justice is according to what you're saying.
Well, Paul, let's take somebody goes to war, right? And you're murdering your enemy against your state. Now you are fighting for the state, and that's a just thing. But at the same time, it can spoil your soul. It can spoil your psyche. You go crazy. That's a form of justice.
But I mean, I don't know if that's what Slick is saying. But Slick won't define it, so I don't know. I know what I think justice is.
Do you know what justice means? Do you know what justice is?
I do.
Well,
then tell me. I have an idea. You tell me what you think of.
Well, I'm telling you, justice is something. I'm telling you, I'm answering you. Justice is part of reality and existence. You don't get to choose it. You don't get to not have it. Or hold on, you don't have a choice in the matter when it comes to justice. Justice is just like existence. So to use that argument, well, like if a atheist chooses to be an atheist so he doesn't have to answer to anybody, justice is built in. You don't have any choice with justice.
What does that mean? What you just said?
You can't escape. You
can't escape.
You haven't
right. There's no.
You haven't defined what justice is.
What I'm defining.
You haven't defined.
I think
justice.
what he's saying is you can't escape justice. It doesn't matter what you believe. You could be an atheist. Every atheist loses on the day of judgment. Every single one. Everyone loses the day they die. They don't ever win.
See, he's still even.
Well, I'm not putting it in those. Listen, I'm not putting it in those terms as far as the day you die and all that. I'm just saying it's existence. Justice and existence are one and the same.
Well, like
You're
let's
right,
say,
Slick. I hold myself accountable.
You haven't Slick. You haven't defined just. You haven't.
Okay. Do you understand it? Okay. Do you understand? Do you understand existence?
Okay, I understand existence. I understand that you're saying that
hold on. I'm going to make the point for you. So if you understand existence, you should have no problem understanding justice because they're one and the same.
No, so you're still not giving a definition. You're just saying it's built into the system and it's one of the same.
Hold on. Now, did I just say? Go ahead.
I just looked up the word justice, and it said basically things that are just. So I'm actually reading the definition of just. Okay.
Well,
based on a behavior according. Hang on. I'm reading from a definition. Okay. Based on or behaving according to what is morally right and fair. Would you agree with that definition of just?
Listen, I have no problem with the definition. I'm just saying that justice and existence is one and the same. I don't need to define it any farther than that. I don't need to look it up. I don't have to go through all of that.
Well, but if you're saying something is just, that means you're saying there's a certain behavior or certain moral code is correct.
Paul, hold on. Paul, you said you were. I'm also a follower of Christ. Now, the reason I believe or whatever follow the Bible is because it reinforces my morality. I don't get my morality from the Bible. My morality was already built in before I even knew to read. Do you get your morality from the Bible, or does it reinforce your morality? What's the difference?
I said that earlier. I did say that. I said, as a believer, I believe God has built into creation, into us, a conscience, a way to determine what is right and what's wrong. That is built into us. But if Slick and Flat Earth are correct in their understanding that there is no.
Hey, don't bring me up. I'm just fizzing soda, right? Don't bring me up. I'm just fizzing soda.
Exactly. Don't mention him.
You're right. You're right.
Don't mention me.
Sorry. Okay. I will say the worldview that
it all depends on if you're cream soda or corn soda.
The worldview that says that there is no God outside of time and space, then the only standard you have is this world, and that's what Slick's driving towards.
No, it's not. Don't say what I'm driving at. No, don't do that because that's not what I'm driving at. No, I told you what I told you.
Well, you said it's built into.
Listen, I stopped saying the word built. I said scrap that word built. I said justice and existence are one and the same. Now that's my only statement I'm making. One more time. Justice and existence are one and the same.
Okay, so let me rephrase it. See if you agree.
No, please don't do me a favor. Don't rephrase it. Just let it be.
Will you care to
can you do me that favor and just let that be just as it is? Because that's all I have to say about it. I have no listen, there is no.
This is how I hear you.
Oh. Okay, well listen, guys, listen, you can hear what you want, but I'm out of this conversation. I gotta go. Take it easy.
That's interesting. Very interesting.
Making statements and then leaving. All right.
Well, he just he doesn't like boxes.
I mean, well, you got to expand on what you're saying, you know.
Well, I understand that, but you can't quantify everything. At some point, we have to admit we can't know everything. You gotta get rid of that God complex.
At what point? No, you gotta start with that. You gotta start by saying we don't know everything. That's
okay. That's okay.
I know that's okay. That's perfectly fine. The problem is with people trying to know every single aspect of life.
Yeah,
that's how we got to this problem right now.
That's what I was trying to say to Paul earlier. I believe in the Bible, or I follow the Bible because it reinforces my morality. I already had that morality before I read my first scripture. It was already in me. I already knew all that morality in my heart. I didn't even have to know the Bible to know morality. I already had it built in from day one. And maybe that comes from upbringing. Maybe that comes from genetics. I don't know. But I know I had it.
And with that, I'm going to say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the Nathan Oakley premiering stream audience for tuning into this extended after show. And of course, a massive thank you to all of today's debating panel for making this after show possible. If you need to keep yourself occupied after this stream is over, then go to nathanoakley.com and check out the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!